Maboyka, bienvenido. What up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome everybody. Here I am in a little nighttime driving. Nighttime. I'm pulling up, folks. I'm pulling up. Just wanted to um I'm gonna deter a little bit. I'm gonna share my screen. I want to deter. I'm gonna take a detour, okay, from the Earth Energy Center, because today was a class, and like I said, man, the Queen of Sheba, the third Kasumra, um, Kasambura, the amount of wisdom that I sense, that I'm hearing, that I'm sensing from this queen is amazing. Let me tell you, amazing. You just I put out the link out there, the summit, but pretty soon that's gonna be all closed, and it's just gonna be what she told us. It's gonna be only by invitation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like Freemasonry. Solicit anybody. It's just by invitation and for vouching, and that's to curb the amount of disrespect sometimes and people coming on lives and stuff like that. You know, I don't get that problem, but hey, when I do, it's gonna come time that it's just gonna be, you know, um, create a membership, and then those who are going to vouch for that person. You know what I'm saying? And that's important. That's protocol. That's important. For all my Freemason brothers out there, Masons, Master Masons, and brothers who is into Freemasonry know how that goes. And I think that is very, very, very important. Um, so there's reorganize, not real, yeah, parliaments and queendom. It grows and it moves, and this is a queendom that has been coronated. And you'll see, in the past 20 years, it resurfaced again. But this is an ancient lineage, and ancient, you know, culture and lineage. It's just now to spread out, into African Union Renaissance, African Renaissance, United Nations. I mean, it's powerful. Let me tell you, it's powerful, and I'm going to show you, because I'm going to take you to the site. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to look at certain things. Um, Beautiful, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so honored, you know, um, to sit in her court, just like I was honored to sit in the surrounding with Pana Bayananin. At that time we know him as Alamamis and Mahdi. You know what I'm saying? In Bushwick. So I was honored to speak with him one on one, and learn certain things from him, and the guidance, and it led me to here now, with the Queen of Sheba the Third, Kasambu Ra, the mother throne of all thrones, the Queen of the South. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so happy with the African Kingdoms Federation, and I'm learning more and more and more what that entails, because you're talking about emperors, and chieftains, kings and queendoms, and you know, that exists, that always existed. You know what I'm saying? And those lineages exist, and when you tied in, it becomes very powerful, very, very powerful. So let me share my screen. That being said, any acknowledgement? Let's see. Okay, we got two people on here, but let me share my screen here. I want to bring this up. Let me see, and then I'm going to go into the technology of study, because I think that's something that we should all take into account also. So here's the site. Okay, it's the African Kingdom Federation. Okay, .com. And this is the Queendom of Sheba, Nubia and Sheba, and actually Queendom. You know what I'm saying? A lineage is the African Kingdom Federation, the Queendom of Sheba Crown Government, ARK, African Royal Kingdom. That's what ARK stands for. So I am a I'm I use I in my name you see honorable because I'm a master mason. I was inducted and raised up and into initiative masonry. And so we carry the name honor in front of our names. ARK is the African Royal Kingdoms, and then you have the Crown Parliament, the Crown Ministry Kingdom, the African Kingdom Federation Socioeconomics Affair. This is the headquarters. I'm so honored also because one of my videos is also on here. You know what I'm saying, and which I'm gonna have to speak about that, later in private with some of my crown ambassadors. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that everything is being done by protocol. You know what I'm saying? Protocol is very, very important to me, and I'm learning about it as I'm also taking courses in the United Nation site and stuff like that, which is part of our training, and that is important. I always had an affinity for that. You know what I'm saying? Always wanted to get involved in that global. I think galactical confederation. I think globally. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way I am. But I'm also national, and I'm also family man and an individual. But we'll talk about that later. So in this site, when you go to the federation, and this is look at this beautiful picture here. Um, Again, the Federation of the South. It's the Global South Royal Community at the service, the Queen of Sheba. Okay. I just read you some of this. Beautiful, beautiful queen. I mean, I love it. I've seen these pictures a couple of years ago, but I never followed up on it. But then I heard something with an update that the Panama Yananin had mentioned. So, I'm here to navigate through this and to learn and to grow with it. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Like I said, the queen of Sheba, the third, she has such an amount of wisdom. And she's very humble. She said, it's her upbringing. And it's true. You know what I'm saying? You can see that. Um, you know. So when we look into that, the South World Kingdoms of Africa and Europe, Asia, royal family, houses of Sheba, Mena, house of Egypt. This federation, remember we spoke about the Ma Federation. This is part of the Ma Federation was those hunter gatherers, newborns that spread out, you know what I'm saying, into many different areas, into West Africa, this Green Sahara, went into Suma, went into Arabia and into Suma. And so the houses spread out, right? But now, you know what I'm saying? It's being again centralized. The core of it is being enhanced. That's the African Renaissance, right? But I don't want to go too much into that narrative. But here we have the Kingdoms Federation. Let's look at some of these pictures. You said this was the African Federation Tripoli in 2007 summit on the African Renaissance agenda to 2021, 2022. What they call Tahaka, Rahubat, my brother, Rahubat Zaman. And the phase 9 of 9 rollout by Her Majesty, Imperial Majesty, the Nubian nation, Imperial Matria of Empress of the African continents, Nubian royal kingdoms of the Astro. You see a lot of chiefs from Ghana, South Africa, queendoms and princes and queens, and this is the gathering. This is the coronation. African Kingdom Federation, you see them sitting in their seats, you know what I'm saying? And you see the mother throne and the queen federation, beautiful pictures. Um, this was in Africa, I believe, right? Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is again a federation where chiefs and kings and queens come together, and this is the real deal, y'all. This is the real deal. You know, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is the real deal. You know, so you see that it was a huge event. And I love it. You know, the regalia is just out of this world, man. I mean, it's just beautiful. This is culture, um, and I'm so honored to be in the midst of this and part of it. I can't wait to go to Africa, the Congo, and also, with my regalia, also, what I'm saying, and study all that I can study from the academy. We have like an academy. Let me see something here. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. So we go. I don't think you can see that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go. Okay. And let me see. Also, this is the feature that I did. Earth Energy Center is on here on the site. But what I wanted to do, go back in here, the Federation, right? And you know, we got to get to know this, to know how You know, let me just read you a little bit of this. So the Federation is similar to an internal infrastructure and makeup of the African Union, which is formed by the Federation of African Nation Governments, and similar to the United States of America, which is formed by Federation of States of the Union. See that? The Kingdom of Sheba African Kingdoms Federation, in short, referred to as the African Kingdoms Federation, AKF, is formed by the Nubia Sheba Kingdom of Sheba African Royal Kingdoms Nation Union of the African Union Nation. Now, the Federation of the African Union Nations, which is the AU, and the Kingdom Federation of the African Kingdom Nations, AKF, brief information comparison. As you go in, the African Union is a federation consisting of all African states except Morocco for some reason. I don't know. Morocco. The union was formed with Addis Ababa as its headquarters on the 26th of June of 2001. Check that out. The same day Hernandez' birthday. The African Union has parliamentary government known as the African Union government, consisting of legislative, judicial, and executive organ. It is led by the African Union president and head of state, who is also the president of the Pan African Parliament, Wiki. Similarly, the Queendom African Kingdom Federation, the AKF, is a union consisting of the African states, ancient Nubia, Sheba, Queendom, royal kingdoms, referred as the traditional kingdoms and traditional rulers, forming a royal mon, monarchical federation and a central government of the continental ancient Egypt, Nubia, Sheba, Queendom, throne, descendants, kingdoms, and nations. So the African royal kingdoms, the ARK, ARK, ancestral royal kingdoms, also the ancestral royal kingdoms of the Federation of the South. And it is migrated descendants lines form nation. So the head of the Kingdom African Nation Federation Union, Sheba Throne Central Government is the Arab African nations, the Arabic Eurasia Sheba, throne head of the South Union, the Queen of Sheba of the Kingdom of Sheba of Africa, the century-old Kingdom African Continent Royal Kingdoms Federation (AKF) was reformed in 1962 and in 2000, further expanding into the summer of 2007 by Federation Nations Southern Arabia, ancestral line Sheba, and dual descendants in Seba kingdoms of Nubia, Kush, Africa, continent nation kingdoms, bloodlines of the throne of Sheba, formed by the descendants of ancient Nubia, ancient empires, and working. Remember, I showed you the city of Seba, which is in West Sudan, a little lower than Khartoum, in Sudan was Seba, was a city. You know what I'm saying? Seba, Saba means seven, the seven royal families that came out of that. So forming a queendom, one unified African Kingdom Federation of the Nubia Sheba Kingdoms Nation of the African Nubia Sheba Imperial Matriarchal Empire ancestral to the Kingdom of Sheba. Okay. As an integral part of the Federation of the South Union, the African Nubian Kingdoms Nation kingdoms, hundreds of internal chieftains collectively formed the Supreme Assembly of the Kingdoms Federation, representing the respective kingdoms and kingdoms tribal nations of the African continent. This is real stuff, yo. Real. So, um, the Project Seven Phoenix agenda. Okay, now the Kingdom of the of Nubian Nation African Kingdom Federation, registered in 2002, is established a non-governmental organization, IHF, Imperial House Foundation Africa, which was formalized in 2004. Expanded IHF in USA in 2004, incorporated in Africa in 2007. During 2008, IHF USA was closed. In 2009, IHF Africa launched a century-old traditional internal African kingdoms community, Nubia Sheba African Royal Kingdoms, ancient royal kingdoms, and the Ark of Nubia headquarters, and the NGO, the non-governmental organization, which I'm studying a lot about, excuse me, about that now, support social community network platform for the Federation Commission, the Project 7 Phoenix, the AIL agenda of the HIF in Africa. So in 2018, the IHF Africa was revived to Crown Imperial House Foundation, the CIHF, and the Queendom focus on one objective. The one objective is the Project Phoenix 7 agenda. I will bring that up so you can see. I don't know. Are you seeing this? I might have to unshare my screen. Let me unshare my screen and then come back to that. Share my screen again. I think that when I move the agenda, here it goes. And this is the Project 7 Phoenix, the agenda. The first and foremost item of the Queendom agenda are the further establishment of the Imperial Kingdom of Sheba and the continental capital of the African Kingdom Federation Kingdom. The support of the African Union Nation Development Agenda with the Queendom Project 7 Phoenix agenda. Project 7 Phoenix is the simultaneous development of the African continent in unity and harmony with the African Union nation. Now, this also spreads out, these are so implemented. This also spreads out into the diaspora, you know what I'm saying, which is called ECHO 6, the diaspora, African diaspora, you know what I'm saying? So this reaches out. You know, this is the princess, her Imperial Highness Crown Princess, the Imperial Highness Crown Prince, and another prince. Um, and when you look at the site, you see the parliament, the agenda um, of this simultaneous development of the African continent is strengthened by the full integration, participation, and support of the Kingdom of Africa as an integral part of the Kingdom Crown Parliament. So there's a parliament, there's a government, there's a parliament, there is an academy, and you get to see all of this. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's the crown government, the agenda, the event, and the content. Okay, it's the crown monarch Sheba crown. Let's look at this. Let's see. I'm just waiting to see if it shows up. Yeah, this is the coronation of the Queen of Sheba. Okay, Her Imperial Majesty was 2000 coronated as Her Imperial Majesty, the Imperial Matriarch Empress Shaba. Queen Sheba the third, of the Queen of Sheba of the seventh house, the seventh throne, that of the Asasi, the throne, Asasi. Something very interesting was dropped. I'm not going to reveal it right now, but definitely, you know, I'm a task force officer and I'm looking, you know, I'm in honor and service to the queen or whatever she needs. I'm here for her. So the throne that the Asasi, the queen of queens, after the unification of the Kasambula and the Kasambura throne family line. Now, this ushered in the start of the Asasi seven throne right of further queen thrones and the queen grandmother throne's coronation. This followed in 2006 Sudan Nubian Asasi throne rights. 2007 enthroned as HRM Queen Abina Nyamte. I don't want to mess that up. The Queen of Penango and Bam. So Asasi Asare ruling quarterly family, 2009, Queen Grandmother of Queens, Bonziba, on and on. Thus, Egypt, Nubia ancestral tradition completed over 1 decade of ceremonies and rite, 5 thrones and the respective hundreds of kingdoms thereof, and 5 throne names of the imperial matriarch, alongside with the highest covering of the Nubia Sheba thrones and the kingdoms of the seventh throne of the mother queendom of the Queen of Sheba. Deep, deep, deep. From December the 31st. Now, the reason why I'm relating you this here, just to let you know that you know, the reset of a new civilization and the kingdoms coming together to sort of like again further develop for the new civilization, further develop the continent of Africa, and at the same time also develop the other continents where African diaspora, where you find a lot of Africans throughout there, but not only African per se from Africa, but those we're all from the continent of Africa. Even if you're from Europe, wherever, somehow, somewhere along you're connected because we deal with anthropology and you can see it. But when you have these thrones now, these queendom and kingdoms, this federation coming from the cradle of the cradle of civilization, from the cradle of Earth. You know what I'm saying? Now being enhanced and being further developed into a new civilization. You know what I'm saying? So, from December the 31st, 1999 to 2000, the Queen was coronated by strict royal tradition, starting the new year at midnight. Year change of 2000 in reign as the South Throne of Queen of Sheba. The year 2000 was a mark of a new rule. The year 2000 was a mark of also the golden age. We're at this golden age right now. So already been 22 years, and we're still developing. So without fanfare during a traditional rite process, because this was a old traditional royal tradition rite for the coronation that the Queen of Sheba had to participate and had to be coronated. This was immediately followed by throne lines ruling matriarchal Kasambu Ras line and patriarchal Kasambula house throne unification. The patriarchal Kasambula house is seated by HRS King Adam Kasambu Ra, the Ugandan born lines patriarch of the South Sudan, Nubian, East Africa lines in Bombo, Uganda, and Kenya. Okay. This throne rise ceremony saw the unification of that line with the ruling mother throne of Sheba, Nubia, Egypt line. That ceremony was held in the Netherlands at the start of 2000 and completed in 2001 in the Netherlands in honor of the House of Sheba extended line family of the present dynastic house related birth, and covered by the local regional news of Barbrand and the Telegraph. Coronation rites continues into 2006 within the Egypt, Nubia, North Sudan lines in North Sudan and Sheba Sudan family lines in Sudan 2007. The Queen led the Continent's Federation first major AKF summit, which was hosted in Libya by that government during the Tripoli and the certificate celebration of the African Union anniversary. You know, beautiful family. Yeah. So, coronation rites don't see process until 2004 and 2000 coronated Queen of Nubia. So, this is like I said, this is another venue, man. This is this is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? That when we're actually seeing this, you know what I'm saying? We're actually seeing this, and what what's so im- important to me is that this is in line with Wu Sabat. This is in line with my upbringing and the guidance and the teaching of Padnaba Yananin. Okay. This is in line with all of that. You know what I'm saying? He spoke about this and updates and threw clues here and there and there. But I guess people gotta, you gotta hear straight from his mouth, right? But I mean, he's dealing with certain issues that he needs to be dealing with. But That is also a royal house, also in Sudan. You know what I'm saying? So things changing now. You know what I'm saying? So Her Majesty Mutiga Corte. So this goes into a lot of important, and I am gonna go through this at my own time to get to know this really, really good. Really, really good. You know what I'm saying? So today the queen, she actually the queen actually gave us some information and told us to go to the site, go to this federation, get to learn this. Because as you become crown ambassadors, knighted crown ambassadors, you're going to be a representative. You got to know. You got to know your queendom. You got to know. You know, you have to know, and protocol, and this you have to know. So you could go to United Nations and represent the queen through the United Nations. You have to be in line. You have to know the protocol. You just got to know. And also, when certain initiatives, and projects gets out, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of campaign that we're embarking in, and there's going to be some projects and embarking in, and it's spread out to all of the diaspora. And just as a note, we have classes now on Friday with the United States, the team of the USA team in the United States, because you got many different teams. In Africa, you got a team from Zimbabwe doing very good. You got teams in Liberia, teams in Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and the teams in Jamaica doing very good, and people in Trinidad. You know what I'm saying? But you see, like I said, from the viewpoint and from the school that I'm coming from, the Sabian school, and being honorable, and being using that as my references. You know what I'm saying? And seeing how this is of a benefit for us. So I just wanted to put that out, put that out there. Peace, Bondo, peace, mi hermano. So I mean, it's like, you know, we all are not we you ascend, or you ascend, or you go as far as you want to go. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't want to deal with United Nations. I'll deal with it because it's another venue, and I'm not going to reveal certain things that I need to do, to make sure, okay, okay, and that's dealing with Patna Yananin, and protocol and stuff like that. So there's things that I look forward to doing. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I am. That's the way I rock. But not everybody's like that. Also, I like to reach out to Emperor Kufru over here, who's setting his state, who's moving his state and stuff like that. And also my worldwide Sibian brothers and sisters, they have their government in place, right? I checked out the conference. They have the government in place. Important. There's certain things. Things are coming together. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a reset, the reset of civilization. So things are coming together. You know what I'm saying? But right now, we have a queendom. You know what I'm saying? We have a parliament, a government that's recognized by the African Union. At times back in 19, back in the early days of 1962, there were brothers how to reach out to African Union. Couldn't, it wasn't ready. Now is the time. Now is the time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things are being done. And also at the United Nation level. People say, well, yeah, but United Nation, don't get it twisted, because United Nation is a place, a global, a place to gather globally. A lot of countries gather globally, and you can voice certain concerns, and voice certain agendas and stuff like that. If they listen or listen not. But the main thing is what you're doing in your immediate environment. That's important. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. In our immediate environment, and talking to Muspatia, talking about to my Sabian brothers, we come from, in East in Georgia, that land was like a United Nation for us. You know what I'm saying? We were able to gather people from all different walks of life, and flags and everything, and fly them. and come together and have these dialogue. You know what I'm saying? But now, I mean, we still have that. We have it now at the United Nation level. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm saying there was a lot of antisocial people. Push them out the way. Push them out the way. You know what I'm saying? Push them out the way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, there are organizations that start off very detrimental and stuff, but then when you push out the antisocial, these organizations now become beneficial to you if you know how to use it. They're tools of knowing how to use it. Where there's agenda, global agenda. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that with the Sabine, there were not honorable men. There weren't men who was prepared, or men and women that were prepared to deal with certain issues at a global level. We're not. You know what I'm saying? We've been through trials and tribulations within the nation. You know what I'm saying? Trials and tribulations. So now the time is ripe now. Now the time is ripe because now we're rolling out again ambassadors, task force officers and ambassadors, so that we can unite and come to some agreement and a beneficial contribute to humanity. Contribute to humanity. And let me do some more acknowledgement here. Zay, assalamu alaikum, my brother. Assalamu alaikum. Yes. So this is again, and listen, and I said I was going to detour a little bit from the Earth Energy Center, but this has a lot to do with it because this is again ancestral patterns, right? When you think about it, these is ancestral pattern, genetic blueprints, ancestral patterns that are taking place, you know, that are now being enhanced, are taking place. You know what I'm saying? Here on Earth, that's expansion, Papa Earth. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, the time is now. The time is now because now, and also in dealing with applied sciences, there's a science behind again government, studying government and queendom, and it has a lot to do with ancestral pattern. I read it to you. Ancestral it has a lot to do with that. This is this is again an Earth magnetic field. This is again tying in, to Earth magnetic field and learning about this. You know what I'm saying? How important this is. And so, you know, if you have this conversation with the youth, hey, listen, you aspire to be an ambassador. You aspire to be a dignitary, an ambassador, an honorable man, an ambassador to certain nations, representing your nation. I'm a member of the Confederation of the Taino people. You know what I'm saying? The chief there is Mukaru. And so I'm able to have that back and forth, Sumukado, who also sits in the United Nations and General Assembly and whatever, and does work in that level. You know what I'm saying? Because his agenda, the initiating agenda of that particular of our tribe is to get our artifacts back because we're repairing reparation. We're repairing the atrocity and things that happen of people taking our artifact, and we need those artifacts. You know what I'm saying? Same thing in Africa. You know what I'm saying? If so this deals a lot with that. So if you're going to again inspire the youth to think at this global level, you know what I'm saying? It's very important. That also deals with the dynamics of existence. And that's a dynamic for humanity, for the global humanity, right? That's what can I say? You know what I'm saying? But you got to put in the work. You got to put in. Now, some people are not going to be able to, probably won't able to get in there, you know what I'm saying, to that level, you know what I'm saying? And who knows, you know what I'm saying? Um, there might be another path that's cut out for me, you know what I'm saying? But as I am in this path right now, I'm seeing the benefits of this contributing to humanity. I'm seeing the benefit of this and the benefit to my Sabian brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Don't, and I'm not guiding or leading anybody. I'm guided and leaded by Panabayanan and by what he says. When I read it and apply it to certain political science. There's a political science. You know what I'm saying? There's a science of government. There's a science. Deals with ancestral patterns. You know, you know. So thank you, Tahaka. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Tahaka. Just watch me on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you watch me on Facebook, really, and sometime on my page. If you like, you could you reach out to me in Messenger, and I'll vouch for you in the African Kingdom Federation, so you can come into the summit. You know what I'm saying? We'll dialogue a little bit, me and you, and you can come into the summit, and you can meet the Queen of Sheba and see the work that's being done. See the work being done right now. The most important thing, we're working with society, social development, because when you go into the United Nations, there is what they call the ECOSOC, the Economic and Social Council and Social Development, right? That's important because you want to make sure that society is being guided the right way. That in your community, what I'm saying, you want to get out there in the community work, that you have all the tools necessary to benefit your community. You know, I'm ready to get out there and do some stuff community wise and volunteering and stuff like that. So right now we're learning about these 19 courses, and we're going over it again, because it is very important. I'm gonna pull up some stuff over here, but it's it's far from trivial, man. This is important when you deal in those venues in that level. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one time in Wapians, there was a whole thing about forming an embassy and ambassadors to this and that was cool. Yeah, I like the idea. I like the idea. It was on a small scale, but I like that idea. You know what I'm saying? But then it got fractured. I dismantled. This is a global thing happening here. You can't dismantle this. This is an ancestral lineage, a tradition that goes way, way back. Now we have to tie into that, in the diaspora, you know what I'm saying, to tie into this, you know what I'm saying? We have the skills, we have all of the knowledge and skills and everything that help us and learning about the forms of government and things like that. But now we're now getting a global, and not only a global, a traditional African traditional system. You know, that's to embrace that, to embrace it, enhance it with what you learn, and enhance it, and then we can say, Panabayananin, put him on his seat where he belongs. The chief, put him in his seat where he belongs in the nation, here in the West. You know what I'm saying? And do those works, you know, and make also, like I said, Arur, Panabayananun, free our master teacher. That's what you want to, that's the route you want to go. And this is very important. You know what I'm saying? Because now you have now, imagine, I just imagine, and this is talking to my Sabian brothers and sisters. Imagine if we had this connection and we had ambassadors being trained, and this connection, this flow at the time we had the land. You know how powerful that would have been? They would have never touched the master teacher, they would have never touched that land. Never. Okay. I'm Panabayan didn't try because he connected with Liberia. But Liberia didn't have the power. But that's just Liberia. Imagine when you got the whole African Union and the United Nations in a global setting, and you're being recognized also because this parliament and government is recognized by the Senate of the United States. There's a plaque. I'll see if I can find it. the queen, our queen showed us the plaque, the Senate, House Representative Senate, United States of America, its government recognized the government of the Kingdom of Sheba. Okay, at that level, the United Nations level, and at the national level, and the African Union level, they recognize this. You know, the Senate, the government here in the United States recognize this parliament, this government of the Queen of the South. She has the plaque. This is the real deal. So imagine us armed with this. Listen, you see the stuff we can accomplish to um, to contribute to humanity. Because first of all, I'm telling you, we need to correct all that antisocial characteristics, man. We need to get it out of our system. And maybe that's why things had to happen the way it happened. Because we got to get that out of our system. Lower the amount of that antisocial characteristic. Lower that amount. And have those willing to know, okay, willing to get at this level. You know what I'm saying? Make Panabayanan proud, because he gave you all the guidance, all the knowledge. What are you going to do? What applied sciences? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? How are you setting up your tribal government, the nation, and do the work? There's a lot of reconstructions, a lot of repairing that has to be done within this nation that's here. And again, to the more science step of those nations, the nation of Islam, all these nations that are here into the United States of America, which is African diaspora. You know, so now when you have the backing, you have the, you know, you have the integrity and the integrity and the honesty, you know what I'm saying? And you have the queendom. You're representing that queendom of the South with honesty and integrity, and knowing that you now are ambassador. Now you can come to the aid. So one of the most important things is, again, is these 19 courses, life skill course, and the modules, and this academy. This, what I'm speaking to you about, is also in an academy. An academy that's set in place, you know, as to train. Let me see if I can bring up something over here. Share my screen again. Let me see. Yeah, let me share my screen again and show you this. Show you the academy, okay? Because I'm telling you, and then I'm gonna show you something from the United Nations and some of the studies. When you go here and you go to Federation Task Force Academy, let's look at the welcome, okay? Here, okay. Welcome to the Arc of Nubia Initial Task Force Training for ARC Executives. Okay. You have entered a critical door to the past, your present, and our collective future. Our Empress reward you with an outstanding job and your esteemed recognition and meeting here as ARC Elite Task Force Executive. Past the royal atrium gates here inside the intricate walls of the kingdom agenda. You are to do well as expected, as you as a new family member of this prestige royal institution. Much faith and hope is placed in you. Okay. Um, you interest in a progressive development project has brought you here. You can be assured that your potential will be rewarded by merit of your input on the life-changing courses and noble purposes of your own strength to achieve. We have come together to achieve many aims. We care for the children in any way that we can. I'm saying, educate those youth. We got to change the mind. That's the way you change the mindset of a people, of a nation, is by educating the youth. We see to families collective and bring them under one house of the queen, the Asasi or Mami, and we see of both income development and job development almost immediately. Okay, you are important and you are many, but you are more than just numbers. As a number, you're an individual with potential that you cannot be divided from. Your potential is honored here in this ruling house humanitarian community, which love is the organic love. Africa's rising through the continent has always been rich. Africa libraries records many migration from the house histories. I just posted there's 70,000 manuscript from Mali that has been saved and digitized, and I have most of them. Yes, Tahaka, I will refer you to books that you have referred to, my brother. Yes, and I think you if you're speaking about a couple of good books that UNESCO published. Also, I got a couple of few and those manuscripts, man, from Mali. But the actual manuscript that digitized, they took pictures and they digitized them, but you got to learn how to read Arabic. It's in Arabic. There is no English trans. I don't think it's going to take a long time for them to translate 70, almost 70,000 manuscripts. Wow, from Timbuktu that was saved because they took manuscripts to Sudan, to Ghana. These manuscripts are spread all over. And I can show. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring it up in a few. So, Africa is rising through the continent has always been rich. Africa libraries records many migrations from the house history. It records many migrations. Our is the factual and powerful historical legacy, and we are all one. The matriarchy is such ancient antiquity. The matriarchal tongues and language trace back to the earliest biblical rulership. That's how in the Bible, in order for them to validate what's happening in the Bible, they had to take actual accounts and put it into the Bible, what I'm saying, and create these stories. So this is actually kingdoms and those lands so-called of Adam and Eve, according Adamic people, right? It is a very old language founded and is the mother tongue of all Latin, Semitic, and Vedic language. The truth is mission of remembering humanity as one original origin comes together. Here is the throne headquarters now that the communication tech and networking age platform has risen to this degree and strength. Nubia is rising across her nation. And as we are yet speaking with a courteous economic closing bell, progressive grassroots officer will see to the preservation of land, family, and partnership goals of the international agenda and foreign, as well as to development of their socioeconomic interests and those of their family. We offer you a very warm welcome again, Crown Royal Task Force. I am a task force officer who stands at the inspiration of what is possible to get this agenda operational. We hope you are prepared to envision, alongside with ruling house, the world's great land and resource and history filled frontier, developing into a more sustainable, harmoniously empowered, economic, sound, and unified global family. Okay. So so it tells you what the academy is looking for. Simply put, humanitarian visionaries and go-getters. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. You know, society, nature, training elements. Again, very, very powerful. This is the academy. And then when you go into this is the training. This is the World Peace Committee, African Union Diplomatic Mission, ARC Representative Basic Training. They decided to use the training that they partner up with certain organizations. So they partner up, believe it or not, with Scientology, and you're just using it. They're not part of the Church of Scientology. This what they did was, with the African Union is to they went out looking for skills out there to help society and see if this works. And then when you look onto this, the World Peace Committee, diplomatic mission of the African Union are proud to work with some of the most amazing alliance partners in the world. These courses are one of such partners. They are the incredible free course based on science and technology of Scientology. It's based on science and technology of Scientology. The technology is an ongoing, resounding success with all levels of our nation, internation, social community leadership, and royal kingdoms, governments, and social society. Council of the 35,000 interfaith churches, police forces, schools, economic community, and foreign. So this reaches out to many different organizations, churches. Was something that Panama United did when he did the Church of Garas. He reached out to Islam. He reached out to many different schools of thoughts, even police force. We had our own police force. Schools, economic community, changing lives, bringing down crime, drug abuse, school dropouts, social community divisions, poverty, and so much more for the education and skill offered, and is 100% success when applied at the speed of light in our community, and thus an integral and most crucial part of our academy facility training skill for our peacekeepers. All courses are mandatory for all of our representative crown officials and crown imperial royals and Acadian task force knights and knights ambassadors and leadership thereof worldwide. Open to all of our members if you choose to utilize and aspire to become a representative. Okay? Be the change. And this is the course: the dynamic of existence, the components of understanding, how to resolve conflict. I'm telling you, I use some of this stuff. It works. It's a science. It's applied science, you know what I'm saying, in dealing with this technology. Solution for dangerous environment, assist for illness and injury, integrity and honesty, marriage, the emotional tone scales, answers to drugs, children, tools for workplace, ethics and condition, cause of suppression, investigations, basic of organizing, fundamentals of public relations, targets and goals, the technology of study, which I'm going to go into in a few minutes, communication, and there's graduations and stuff. And then there's the modules. Oh my. I should bring up the modules. And yes, it is possible to be part of the training, like I said. Um, yes, it is possible to be part of the training. I just suggest just reach out to me in Messenger Tahaka, reach out to me in Messenger, and you know, and I can vouch for you. You know what I'm saying, and bring you on. Vouch for you so you could just come into the summit. And also be part of this training. Let me show you something here. Let me show you something here. How far that I've gone so far. You know what I'm saying, and that is in the United Nation level. I'm going to show you something here. Oh, here. Oh, wait a minute. The Economic and Social Council for the AKF, the IHF representative. The United Nations, excuse me, Economic and Social Council accommodates the participation of civil society international conference convened by the United Nations. Now, African Kingdom Federation seek to engage the international community at its highest level. Towards that end, this AKF United Nations representative course would introduce the representative to United Nations frameworks and initiatives. At the course conclusion, you should know what is ECOSOC, what is civil society, and how they work together within the United Nations framework. More importantly, you are the representative of the AKF, which is the ancient Kingdom Federation, the African Kingdom Federation, will know how to interact meaningfully within the space. You're being trained. You know what I'm saying? You're being trained to go into, again, you're being trained to go into the United Nations or to deal with governments at a global level. At a global level. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important. Let me bring something up also here. Um, and just to show you, I'm just going to give you a little taste of the files that I've been collecting for my studies. This is for my studies. See, files on the United Nations. This is the brochure. Let me bring this up. And oh well, yeah, because I was reading it. But let me bring it to the beginning. What page? Okay, I'm in page 4. Okay. This is working with the ECOSOC, a non-governmental organization guide to consultative status. Okay, you got people of all the world voicing their gender, voicing their gender and stuff like that, working with ECOSOC and non-governmental organization NGOs guide to consultative status. Now, if you look at it, the table of content, the United Nations NGO, ECOSOC, and its subsidiary bodies, conservative status, U.S. ground pass, you get a pass. United Nations, what's non-governmental organization, have been actively engaged with the United Nations since the inception in 1945, the year that our master teacher was born. They work with the United Nations Secretary programmers, funds, and agencies in various ways, including in consultation with member states. Now, the non-governmental organization contribute to a number of activities, including information dissemination, awareness raising, development education, policy advocacy, joint operational project, participation in intergovernmental process, and the contribution of service and technical expertise. Okay? The ECOSOC states that the Economic and Social Council will make suitable arrangements for consultation with non-governmental organizations which are concerned with matter within its competence. Such arrangements will be made with international organizations and, where appropriate, with national organizations after consultation with members of the United Nations concerned. This goes in deep. I'm telling you, the body, the ECOSOC, the Economic and Social Council, the ECOSOC, consists of 54 member states elected by General Assembly for overlapping 3-year terms. Seats on the council are allotted based on geographical representation, with 14 allocated to African states, 11 to Asian states, 6 to Eastern European states, 10 to Latin America and the Caribbean states, and 13 to Western European and other states. Okay? Um, so this is a study. Right now, I'm studying this as I go forward. Did the ground pass to apply for annual shows you how to apply for the ground pass. Once you have this protocol and you have this, and the certain process that have to happen when you're gonna who you're gonna represent. You know what I'm saying? The ground pass. You know what I'm saying? You get done with the ground pass there, and so many nations sit here and try to do the work they need for their nations, and they tried. Again, awareness, social awareness. You know what I'm saying? We have to be at this level now. On and on. Human Rights Council. I love the Human Rights Council because it deals with a lot of human rights. But even though, we got to be careful with that also. And then that I will impact that later on, or shows you how to do oral statements and stuff like that. And so and so and so. Another thing is, let me see. Let me see. Okay. I'm reading a lot of information, the resolution. I got PDF files. Um, dealing with human rights, but a lot of, yeah, we're dealing with human rights. But like I said, it's that's the part that I'm up to right now. Let me see. Let me read a couple of things here. Let me see. New York. Yeah, that's again a lot of spec. We've been bombarded with this speculative knowledge, and antisocial people, they don't know. They don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I remember meeting Saeed Sadiq from Sudan. The reason why when he came to the General Assembly in 1980 to speak on behalf of Sudan as a prime minister and speak about Sudan, because of the master teacher Pana Bayanan at that time, Ali Mamisa and Mahdi, his cousin, were moving was in constantly um in conversation, because the master teacher told me he was in conversation with Saeed Sadiq and saying that the country of Sudan, being that they were the prime minister and the ruling house of the Mahdi at the time, was ruling the government, and was in place and the head of the government, and was had that seat, prime minister, right? And he says, we have to move Sudan back to the protocols and the rules and regulation protocol that the Mahdi in 1870 set when he liberated Sudan. When he liberated Sudan, they won their independence in 1870 with the Mahdi, our master teacher's great grandfather, right? Great great grandfather, and Sayyid Siddiq's great great grandfather. They wanted, so all the knowledge that our master teacher was imparting also on Sayyid Siddiq, and they were speaking about it. So he decided to go away to the United Nations and made that speech. That same speech, he told us under the tent. He made that same speech under the tent of Kidar with the family being present. And he told us that those laws, those protocols, those rules and regulations that the Mahdi has set down is what Sudan needs to, again, it's what the tribe needed. You know what I'm saying? Because Sudan was heading it, and remember, they did a coup d'etat, they got that family out, put them a lot of atrocity and things happened because the military took over. You know what I'm saying? But, he went to the United Nations and the General Assembly and put it on record. Put it on record. You know what I'm saying? It's there on record now. You know what I'm saying? So our master teacher was always involved with that. It's just, again, he had to protect that because he can't let these antisocial individuals think that they could run up in the, United Nations, this and that, and run up there and create a bad scenario. You have to be honorable. In order for that, you have to earn the merit you by your own merits. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn these protocols. One of the and now the queen taking charge, doing it, now says, well, and we got to get into the 19th course. We got to we got to partner up and learn to see what's going to be beneficial in real time. What's going to be something that we can expedite, and fixing our community and fixing the mindset of our people. I don't care where it's coming from. It could come from Satan, Satanic Bible, whatever. If it's beneficial and it change the mind of people and it's beneficial to contribute to a betterment of humanity, by all means, get it done. Get it done. Let's stomp out these antisocial characteristics. We have to recognize it within us. That's what these lighting courses are about. Not to point your finger at people. Your antis. It's to look within us so that when you look within you and you repair that, and you say, and you know what I'm saying, and you limit the amount of antisocial characteristics, suppressive personality, and then you spread this on and on. It's spread amongst your tribe. It's what's happening right now in Zimbabwe with a brother that got on today. And he's saying, man, this is remarkable. I'm seeing a lot of more tribal people and tribes coming and getting on board and wanting to correct people, individual wanting to correct these characteristics that we was bombarded with, that we suppressive personality that we inherited from years, traumatic experiences and years of these antisocial personalities running governments and running things. Get them out. No, this is humanity. We got to save humanity, save the human race, save the planet, save our children, save our souls, save our children, save our tribe, save our family, save yourself. Because salvation is at the end of the two hands. Save ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so very, very, when you get to that level, and again, the speculative, and a lot of derogatory things were said and things like that. I'm always careful, even if I'm gonna work, if I'm gonna do anything in the United States, I'm gonna be careful wherever I go. I'm to church, even if I go to a parade. What do you think? Everything is so good in a parade? If you're Sabiq, everything's so good at a temple or Moorish temple? If you go to church, you think everything is kumbaya, good? No. You also have to be careful, those venues. You got to be careful wherever you at. Be the example of honesty and integrity, and make sure nobody trample on that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we've been given a lot of now. I mean, again, speculative, but this same people, again, antisocial people. Everybody knows how the United Nations got that. Everybody knows it. Yeah, yeah. Who's everybody? You speaking for everybody? Come on, man. At the United Nations level, you got voices, you got tribes and voices, agendas and stuff. That's the reason why Russia had to back down from Ukraine, because in the United Nations level, in the council, they were on them. Boom, boom, boom. On them. Can't happen. Can't happen. This is going to set a bad example to humanity. Can't do this. No more. You can do this, Putin. No more. You can do this. Trump or Biden. No more. You can't do this anymore. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your people. You're hurting your country. You're hurting humanity. Point blank. And so we got to be up on things and know that our voice, with honesty and integrity, again, and that we can voice this. We could sit at the General Assembly and use the protocols, oral statements or written statement, use the protocol, network is a network with a different organization, non-governmental organization that are involved in bettering humanity, social, bettering society, bettering the economics, the eco habitat and environment, and bettering the society, social people, bettering themselves at that level. Can't do it in the hood and that street level until you're able to connect to that high. You remember reciprocal. So when you walk around your hood and you're trying to do initiative, you're saying this is coming from a global setting. Coming from me. This is coming from the queendom global setting. We got a parliament. We got a government set. And in that government, we got different nations. We can have the Sabiic nation. You can have the nation of Islam. You can have the Moorish science. All these nations, just like Patna known and imagined it and wanted to be. But again, a lot of antisocial people had to do this shadow work. A lot of people destroyed it within. I used to watch this man under the tent of Kedar. I used to watch this man frustrated. And, oh, man, he used to look at me and go, damn. He couldn't get, you know what I'm saying? When we would sit together, he would smile. He was nice, happy. You know what I'm saying? And certain brothers that have certain gifts, man, I'm hoping that I'll meet them at that level, you know what I'm saying, that global level. But there's a lot of brothers that got some very, very gift, but they were, you know what I'm saying? They were compromised, man, because these antisocial people. And then you got a government here when you got antisocial people sitting in the judge chair. Come on. When you go to the United Nations, they have certain appropriation protocols for judicial protocol. They're violating all that here among certain states. But you don't have the voice to voice. You can't voice that because you don't have the backing. You don't have that level, that venue backing you to voice and says, yo, this is an atrocity. Come on. You can't sit at this level of being a judge, a federal judge, and conduct yourself in this manner. Get it together, man, for humanity. Stop all that racist talk. Stop all that. That's so speculative. Let's deal with applied science, political science, and global political science and looking at the planet as one. You can't do this. Enough of this. You see what it's done to different tribes here in the West, Native Americans, to different people, African slaves and people, Africans that were here, Moorish people. You see the atrocity. Even the people that leans to Israelite, Hebrew Israelites, black, what they call Israelite. You see what speculative knowledge has done when there's no applied science. You've seen this. And applied science, science of technology, which is why, people like in different in different science, like Scientology, the study of science. It's what they do. It's what they do. They're in the prisons. You can read books in the prisons. They show you how to do economic. That's all. It's not a church where you go worship. No, believe in that. Have to do that. That's your own personal thing if you want to do. I'm not talking. So a lot of times, there's a lot of speculative talk of people that lean more to that speculative talk are really people that have a suppressive personality because either they experience an antisocial person around them and their family, and the traumatic experiences, especially a lot of that African slaves that were brought suffer from a lot of this. So we gotta purify that. We gotta clean that back up again. You know. Yes, I'm reading here. They were mad at Michael Jackson because yeah, that's right. Michael Jackson had United Nations. He was working with the World Peace Committee. Remember that they had the dove and you see it. Yes, Michael Jackson had a whole initiative. Save the children, I believe. Yeah, yep. He had United. That's right. You got some actors, some singers that are on that level. Yeah, and they have that. They can voice. You can say, yeah, yeah. You're right, Tahaka. You're right about that. Yes, Partner by Baba was more than a black leader on an international level. They didn't want that. Yeah, Malcolm almost got there. Malcolm almost got there. It wasn't the time yet. Remember, Malcolm? I think it was in 1964. Yeah, because the African Union got established in 1962. A lot of things got established. When Malcolm X went there, and also at the United Nations, they weren't ready for those debates. You know what I'm saying? They just wasn't ready for that because Malcolm have done a thing, and they did stop him. You know, yeah, you know. But the African Union didn't just to put Malcolm down. They just said you just got to do certain work protocol, and you just that's how he came back and he started to change his whole narrative. You know what I'm saying? When he went to Mecca, he had to go to Mecca and had to look at globally. As you see, you see, you know, of the development that he was heading to. And yes, yes, within again, antisocial people within his own organization that he came out of, within there, yeah, yeah, you know, can happen. These, because they want to cause harm. They don't want to see that. But they can't now with the fourth industrial revolution, they can't stop it. They cannot stop it. We're talking about an ancestral line that goes back to antiquity. You think it never stopped. It just now is being recognized at another level. Now it's working with the World Peace Committee. It's working now with the United Nations Global ECOSOC, and ECODA 6. And it's working at that level, right? Now it's becoming more, because you got the fourth industrial revolution. There were people that were there, but they kept it to themselves and secretly, and because they didn't, just people didn't have the knowledge, because now it's revealed, and I could take this into Revelations, man. Oh yeah, I could take it biblically. I can take this Islamically to Islam and Muhammad being the universal prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know what I'm saying? And they would appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I take this globally. A lot of prophets and a lot of you know, a lot of great men's learned men tried to kid is there. A lot of them also were compromised. Um, I just put up a post. I just put up a thing about Gandhi. Man, it was just so bad. I mean, even though Gandhi did certain things that were not right, what I'm saying, according to with the South Africans and stuff like that, and the African people in India, because there's a lot of African population in India, the Kushite, what they call them, untouchables, or Dali, or whatever they call them. What I'm saying, and it's very, but those are few, but those are few antisocial. The hierarchy of these Indo Iranian people, or Indo, what I'm saying, a lot of them, what I'm saying, not all of them are the same, but you have a small percentage of antisocial people, and they cause harm to people. You know what I'm saying? Cause harm. When you go to Europe, not all Europeans are bad. There's some Europeans that are in that global setting, and they want to work too, because they know, and taking care of, they know the dynamic of existence. They know taking care of humanity, and taking care of, you know that I'm also taking care of my family, the future of my family. Because if you spoil everything around you, then what do your family have? What are they going to inherit? What the legacy you going to inherit? Think about that. You know what I'm saying? So, you got Europeans, Asians, and Slavics, and they know this. It's just there's a few antisocial people that the media pushes them, constantly pushes them on us. You know, this antisocial characteristic. But we gotta change those narratives, man. Change the narratives. See what's beneficial for all humanity. See how it impacts all these dynamics, or the 12 form of love, or we would say in Wu Sabat. Those 12 forms of love. See how that impacts that. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is, when the time is right, I want to mention that also to the African Kingdom Federation about the Sabiic language and stuff like that. And so I just, brothers keep insisted, but sisters and brothers keep going, because we might need you to teach other African states about Wu Sabat and Sabi, because we want the Wu Sabat that's going to be beneficial for humanity. That's it. And it's not saying that all of the doctrine that we have is beneficial. No, because there is stuff in there. I know the way Taliban think, man. It's crazy, but the core of it is the contribution to humanity. Saying to benefit, to be social. Remember the economic and social committee and the economic and social establishment. You know, so okay. I will talk to people from Bangladesh and China because of my knowledge and of the culture, and people will be like, "How you know about them?" Yeah, yeah. Tahaka. I'm reading on what Tahaka is saying here. Yeah, exactly. That's interesting, Tahaka. That's very nice. Um, so you already have that mindset of reaching out globally, and again, when you respect yourself, your culture, you respect yourself, you respect your language, you armed with the right things. Your partner Bayanana gave us all the skills and everything. When then we could be a better, a better access, a better contributor to the Panama Yanan's conditions and things that he wanted to see us get to. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's gonna get there, but at least we can drag them as far as they can go. And so I can see that your mind is in that global mind, because you talk to people from Bangladesh and China, and yeah, this is very important. But these are the conversations that are happening globally in the in the General Assembly. You know what I'm saying? These are the conversations that's happening there. So imagine you already know how to network with people of different cultures, and that's beautiful. I could see you in the United Nations networking and doing your thing in your agenda and doing your thing as to contribute and better our communities and tribe, our community, so it can be a contributor to all humanity. We want our tribe to contribute to all humanity, be an example. Pana Bayanano is an example of what can be beneficial to all humanity, not just us, to everyone, to the world. Prophet Muhammad was a universal prophet. They talk about Jesus Christ as universal to all the world. You know what I'm saying? Not just stuck on one vein, but to all the world. You know? Because that's Yanan, Yanan, Yanun, the light, all light. You can't cover the sun with one finger. You just can't cover the sun with one finger. Well, I appreciate that. Very nice talk. Something to look into. Like I said, if you really want, just we'll contact each other and maybe have a conversation. And you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I can't I don't want to do this by myself. I need Sabian brothers. I need brothers, Moorish brothers, even Israel. I need brothers. We're here in the USA. We need brothers that are willing to stretch those boundaries, expand, right? Papaot, expand. Papaot is the doorway to Payananin. He said it. It takes ashuk, a conditional divine caring for Papaot expansion. Very, very important. You know, very, very important. That expanding. So I see we're gonna have the conversation, man. I'm glad. I'm very happy to hear. You know what I'm saying? How you can resonate like that. Because it shows a global personality. It shows somebody who's able to sit with different cultures and sit with them and gain that respect, integrity, and honesty. So when they look at you and you say, what tribe and country where you belong to? What tribe? What king? Well, I'm from the Queendom of Sheba, the African Kingdom Federation, and one of those nations is the Sabiic Worldwide Sabiic Nation. You know what I'm saying? Our chief, our master, our sovereign grand commander is Panabayanan and His Excellency Dr. Malachi Z. York. You know what I'm saying? They're going to want to know because they see of your integrity and honesty, and they see you're able to now expand and look globally. You know what I'm saying? And travel. Get a diplomatic passport, just like our master teacher. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to get to that level. A diplomatic passport so you can be able to travel to these countries and again have the tools and represent the African Kingdoms Federation of the South. All those kingdoms, those ancestral lines that also spread out to the African diaspora, which were part of it as being Sabians. We're part of that. Our master teacher has always taught us about those ancestral lineages. You know what I'm saying? And he's looking to see who in us is have the capability of getting to that point and being honorable, honest with integrity. Not going out there. I don't want to discredit anybody. Not going out there stealing people's identity and doing this and thinking you're an ambassador and now doing this and that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on, and I don't care. Because if I'm moving up in the ladder of a global community ladder, and if you're honest, integrity, I'm going to meet you there. I'm going to meet you there. And we can rock. But I'm telling you something right now. If you're not honorable and with integrity, you're not going to succeed or grow. You're not going to succeed and grow. You harm, you rob, you steal from your people, you're not going to succeed and grow. That's just natural nature, damn it. These antisocial people just don't get it because they're so caught up, they're contracted. They're so caught up in the selfless, in the me, me. They're not expanding their mind, their experience, their expression. They're not getting it. They're not getting it. It's just not. They're so contracted in their own little world, and then once in a while they'll come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and this, and I'm diplomat, and this with Liberia, and this in Ghana, whatever." I don't see the fruits of your bearing. I don't see. You're seeing bearing fruits. I don't see it. You know, why have you not told me about the African Union and about the African Federation, the Kingdom of the South, and this ancestral thing, and this actual government and parliament existing that even the United States of America recognizes it? Why have you not told us about this? Maybe because, well, you don't want people, you can't bombard the door because just like masonry, you got to knock. And like I said, those doors are closed in the African Kingdom Federation. Now you have to be invited. I have to, anybody coming through now, I have to vouch for you if you're going to be a Sabian. I have to vouch for you now. I got to see who you are, what integrity, honesty. It's just like masonry. Same thing. You can't just walk into a lodge, knock, 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 and be wanted to be accepted into the lodge. No. Brother, have, you know, vouch for you. That's even said in the lodge. You know what I'm saying? Before you enter and knock 3 times. Brothers have to vouch for you. That's in the investigation when you sit amongst all these master masons, right? And you're in the middle, they're investigating you, they're asking you questions, they're seeing what type of mentality you have, honesty, integrity do you carry with you. And if you honorable and you carry this integrity, it's easy work. You're in. Easy. You're in. Now let's see, do the work and on your merit and see how you progress on and on. So I was able to go from into apprentice, into fellow craftsman, and into master mason, and then becoming chaplain, secretary, and chaplain within the lodge. Same thing with the African Kingdom Federation. I was lucky that I got him again, guided, listening to some of the updates, and guided by the by a partner by Hernandez, and then listening to the updates, and then seeing how in the past how our master teacher did things, and seeing how was I being prepared for this, and then it found me, and I found it, and now I'm happy, and now those doors are closed, and now I have to stand guard there and say, yo, I have to vouch for you now. This is the way the queen is running things. That's the way she wanted, you know. And I agreed with her 100%. Now we have to vouch for you, invite you, and vouch for you to say, are you worthy to sit in this summit in the presence of a queen that carries an ancestral line? That's the way it is. You know, not to spook people, not to scare anybody up. But hey, listen, like I said, if you're honest, you have an honesty and integrity, it's gonna be easy work for you. Easy. Then when you get to that level, like I said, I would love to see a lot of more of my brothers and sisters. I don't want to keep this to myself. I want to see a lot of more of my brothers and sisters becoming knight crowned ambassadors and dealing with African Kingdom Federation, and then dealing also with the Sabiic nation. You know what I'm saying? When they're trying to establish their nation, it is a nation. My master teacher is did the paper in the nation. Then also Khufu, Emperor Khufu, if you want to rock like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Moorish Science, the Moorish Science Temple and those sheikhs out there in Baltimore and everything, and they're the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And finding all these different tribal people and working with them, ambassadors. You know what I'm saying? And working with them. You know what I'm saying? Now you're armed you're recognized globally by this government and by other parliament and government throughout the world. This is a gift. This is a jewel. We're not gonna let people trample over this one. You can't. You can't anyway. You can't. You just can't. It's done. It's a done deal. You just can't. You know. It's It's the way things has to be. It's the way things going to be. You know, and so you know, again, just to see what level you can get to. Some people might become crown ambassadors of imagine here and dealing with other nations and tribes and having that report and introducing them into the African Kingdom Federation and being registered with the African Kingdom Federation so they can get the support of the Queendom of the South, which is being recognized by all parliaments and other queendoms of the North and whatever. The Victoria, Queen Elizabeth, and whatever, which is I don't know what's going on with that. The European, saying the Vatican City. This is worldwide, bro. This is global, and you're being recognized by all these governments. You know what I'm saying? Because you're sitting. You see, the Queen of Sheba, Kasambura, Queen of Sheba, Deborah Amelia, she is the vice president of the World Peace Committee. Vice president to the World Peace Committee in the United Nations. How power did that have? You know what I'm saying? That of the initiative and agenda that she can roll out. Michael Jackson was part of that. That's how I can say. Prince Eli, my brother, my Haitian brother, please get at me, man. Get at me. Because Haiti needs to step it up. Haiti sometimes has been pushed to a side, especially with the African Union and stuff like that. But it shouldn't be because Haiti is powerful. You know what I'm saying? I have Haitian blood, and I have our crowned knighted chancellor is from Haiti. Yeah, he's from Haiti, and so our Haitian people got to step it up. You know what I'm saying? Step it up. But Prince Eli, definitely get at me. Raul back, definitely get at me. Want to see what's happening here. And like I said, this is a now we have the tools. Now we have the backing, like I said, of the Queendom of the South, Queen of Sheba, Saba, the Queendom, right, of Saba, an ancestral line that extends to the African diaspora. Now we have that. That's recognized by the African Union, United Nations, recognized by the United States government, the Senate, all of that. All these different countries recognize it. This coronation, I think, happened in the Netherlands. You know what I'm saying? All throughout the world globally. It's recognized because in 2000, remember, the rebirthing of a new civilization. And they, you know, other even European companies, they want to be part of it. They know that their civilization is done. Done. Those houses, the black nobility, those houses are done. Now they know this and they're smart. They're intermarrying, amalgamating, intermarrying with the African kingdoms, especially the ones from the South. They're intermarrying. Our queen always told us, my bloodline runs all throughout the globe. Because they know. They need it. They know. This is, again, a resetting of a new civilization coming in. And I have spoken of that before. And you have again, certain I don't want to spook anybody. You have this certain organizations or certain hidden organization that they want to be the exception of the rules in this civilization. The past civilization lasted almost like 10,000 years. Yeah, our master teacher said 6,000. A 6,000 year rule, but then it goes into another 4,000 rule when it comes into Babylonia, Ptolemy, Babylonia, and on and on and on. You're talking about 10,000 years of these housing ruling the civilization. Now we have a new civilization with the house of the Queendom of the South, the house of Sheba, Nubian, Cushite. Nubian, ancient Kemet, Nubian, Nile Valley. Those houses are going to be ruling. That's the new civilization. Those houses are going to be ruling. Back again. This haven't happened past 100,000 years. It's happening now. The earth is resetting itself. That's why Patton said our history is being reset again. 24,000 years resetting of our story. And he marks that. And that's what all of this is happening. We're seeing this evidence, we're seeing this, experiencing this right in front of us, a resetting economically with the fourth industrial revolution, right? Right? You have the cryptocurrency, or the resetting of the global currency. You have the resetting of the planet, right? The conjunction, remember that? The resetting of the planet, the solar systems and stuff like that, resetting. The resetting of the currency, again, right? The resetting of a many different natural nature's resetting itself. So all these children being born now are the future, and they're born with that light. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to guide them properly. We got to give them applied sciences. There's some of them that's going to lean more to, advanced technology and sciences, like again, like I told, geomagnetism, and and to move them, to inspire them to do applied science. Forget about that speculative stuff. Let's get into the operative stuff. Those applied sciences, and also political science. That's a science of running government, running queendoms and and kingships. There's a science to that. That was an ancient science. In the Nile Valley, there was houses and governments. You know what I'm saying? That's civilization. The Ma Federation of just hunter gatherers and federation is not a civilization. They formed civilization. So again, the Ma Federation today is the African Kingdom Federation. That's forming again the new civilization. Africa's rising. The cradle, the mother, is rising again. And so that's the point. That's again natural nature. That's the Armageddon, the war between right and wrong. Well, however every way you want to put it. Yeah, they do. I don't know too much about the UN Gala and stuff like that. There are certain things, but like I said, a lot of stuff that's being held at United Nations are for membership, and you have to be both. I don't know of any non-go. I don't know. There's sometimes members of the non-governmental organizations and the United Nations General Assembly that they have separate events. So I think you're just gonna, if you're in New York, if you go to the United Nations and look at the board and maybe the events and see what kind of events are happening around. You know what I'm saying? Oh, because sometimes you have you know, um, certain events that some of these tribes and countries they do on their own. You know what I'm saying? They're able to do that. You know what I'm saying? We'll speak more in depth to that, but yeah. Oh, maybe at the United Nations site, there's a calendar, and maybe they may be having a festival or some type of gala that involves saying some type of initiative, like well, women's rights, children education, or economic this or that, or certain in the United Nations, certain things go down. You know what I'm saying? That's at the General Assembly, at the NGOs and intergovernmental. So that you will have to research. We do have on that level, the African Kingdom Federation do have certain events that that are being sponsored, and certain events. Um, right now, a lot of it is happening in Africa. They just had one in Ghana for the farming farmers. You know what I'm saying? And the committee to help farming and to introduce new technology. They had one in Pakistan. The event that the Queen event that she supported was the one with the eye. Make sure that there was a village. People were having problems with their eyes, so they brought in eye doctors and eyeglasses. There are many different events. And then when you talk about gala, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the United Nations, there's certain events that some committees might want to, rent out the Metropolitan Museum and have this gala event. But again, a lot of there's an attendee invitation by invitation, stuff like that. Again, if you backed up at the African Cuban Federation and you go through the right channels and protocol, you could be sent to one of those galas. You know what I'm saying? And do the work. Because a lot of time these galas and these events, a lot of time is networking. A lot of things happen because the United Nations do not support financially certain organizations. They just don't support financially. But however, they allow you to network with other organizations and find financial institutions within that organization that can help. You know what I'm saying? For you to 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 sponsor an event that you're having. You know what I'm saying? You know, as a force officer, we are giving tasks like that. That in United, like for instance, United States, if we're to sponsor an event, say me being that I'm a musician, I like to sponsor a festival, an event here, African music or Afro Caribbean, or jazz or whatever, or R&B or presentable hip hop, the right one, and sponsor a certain event, you know what I'm saying? That it's again, it doesn't harm the integrity of the queendom, that it's a line. So, there's certain protocols, certain letters that go out to the head of states and then crown ambassadors and the chain of command, and it gets there, and the queen approve of that. You get funding. There's funding for you to do these festivals with everything protocol in place, the proper integrity and the proper also representation is very important. So yeah, have UN Gala. Yeah. But a lot of that we're just gonna have to just talk about, later on. The first thing, like I said, there's basic training, to learn, first of all, we want to make sure that we are able to see the suppressive personalities and the antisocial personality within us. So we be a living example, and not to bring that into the queendom, not to bring it into the summit, not to bring it into the queendom. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I know the queen sometimes get frustrated because people bring this antisocial narratives, always bad news and this and this. And no, we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? That we don't want that. Because all of that has to be done properly. It has to be done properly to the right chain of command, and it has to be property. You know, the queen wanted to make sure that everything is in place because her name, her family name, this ancestral line, this responsibility of an ancestral line. It's just like Pat Nabayanan. You know what I'm saying? When he did his event, he wanted everything to be, right. His name, you know what I'm saying? His name is out there. He doesn't want his name to be smeared, stuff like that. It's been already, you know, people smearing his name, and even his own family and stuff like that. But it's gonna happen. But he not from him. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm so congested. Okay, those courses. Um, Let me bring it up. Um, Let me share my screen. It's the I'll put the site. Um, I'll put the site up here. Matter of fact, I'll put it in. No, not in this chat. Let me put it on a banner. Let me put the site in the banner. You know what I'm saying? So that you can the course. I'm gonna actually put the site on the banner. Here it is. There it goes. I can also put it. Should I put it in Facebook? Um, there it goes right there. If you can, I'll keep that up there. Um, uh, I'm on YouTube. I can. Well, I don't know if it's gonna show up on. here on Facebook. You're on my Facebook feed. You know what I'm saying? But I put it on my YouTube, and you can click on that in the chat. Um, Let me do this. I think I can do this. I'm just gonna have to navigate. Cause if you're interested, like I said, I'll take time to do anything, but I'll take the time, no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? No problems here. Just give me a second. What I'm doing is I'm going to let me see. I have to put it on my here. Put it here for a minute. Tell you what I'm doing. Okay. I send it to my email because I can grab my email to the Facebook page. And what I do, grab it to my Facebook page, and with my phone, now I'm able to go and put it on a what they call that? A paste it. I'm able to paste it now. So just give me a second. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me grab it here. Jesus. Okay. Okay. See what I can do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put it. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna grab it from my email, pin that, and put it on the Facebook for you, my brother Tahaka. You know what I'm saying? Okay, got it here, here, and I'm gonna keep it up there like that because I want it also to. Okay, copy the URL. Got it. Now I just got to get back to my Facebook. You see? No. Now let me get back into the Facebook feed, and I'll put it on there, and you're good to go. See, brother, I'll put it here. Yeah, here. Now I can pin it there. Here we go. Bingo. There you go. That's in the Facebook, right? Yeah. It's short. Oh, yeah, it's on the Facebook. Okay. You can hit that link, and it'll take you to the 19 courses, directly to the 19 courses of the African. And that site you see right there, you want to save that site, and then read up on stuff on there, read up on it. You know. So there you go. Okay, my brother. And like I said, man, let's dialogue and let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Get started on that. And you know, and let's dialogue. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times with these podcasts, I do, with the 19 courses, and I'd expand it because like I said, I use Wu Sabat as my references and my Ansar Sufi teaching, and I just make sure that everything is in line. I try not to get out of my track. You know what I'm saying? So I try to align everything with it. So that way, even if you see in the summit or in the African Kingdom Federation, in the summit and the classes that I'm involved in, and you see me in there, you always see me comment, or you always see me chat, comment, or even orally make statements that leads to Wu Sabat. Always, always. I stay on my vein because I bring that to the African Kingdom Federation. You know what I'm saying? I bring that to them. You have brothers there that come from the Moorish Science Temple, and they're sovereigns and stuff like that. Sovereign, they got their paperwork. They carry those names, and L's and Bays, and you know what I'm saying. They come from that school, and they the same way. You got some that are Christians. You know what I'm saying? And they bring the biblical narrative into that. You know what I'm saying? You got some Zulu. We belong to the tribe of Zulu. The other day we had one of the a brother from South Africa who from the San people. The San. They still exist. And he's excited, and and, he's, 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 presenting this, 19 courses and is presenting this initiative, this Project Seven Phoenix, and this initiative to the San people, the Khoisan people in South Africa, who's still there in South Africa, the Khoisan people in his village. And he's like, wow, this is great. And the bro, he was excited, you know, excited. This is global, 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 global. You know what I'm saying? So, um, you know, it's again because, these organizations, you know, um, have certain, skills that you can learn skills and apply it, and apply it to, not to apply to Wu Sabat, but use Wu Sabat as your, if you are Sabian, use Wu Sabat and Wapi and use that as your foundation. And then you build on top of that foundation. My foundation, right, is Ansarullah, Ansar, right, Sudan. My foundation is now spread out to Wapu, Wu Nuwap, Wu Sabat, also the Federation of Taino people, you know what I'm saying, right? And it just expands. But my foundation, even earlier than that, is Young Lloyd, revolutionary Young Lloyd, you know what I'm saying? And so I make sure that I stay on my track and just expand of how I resonate and what has been my upbringing resonating, and learn how to again chisel the suppressive personality, chisel those characteristic, antisocial characteristics. And I'm learning that now, how to chisel that away, chisel it within my family, with myself, and then myself becomes my family and my tribe. You know what I'm saying? People that associate my community, even if it's the internet community, chisel that away, chisel at it. So as again, remember in Freemasonry, the ashra, right? Chisel it to make it a perfect stone, smooth it out. You know what I'm saying? Those are skills that we learn in masonry, learn as answer, learn with Palabayanan, and you expand it. Papa Ut, you're gonna expand it. You know what I'm saying? Expand it. At the same time, have your tribal identity and your family identity, have all of that, and making sure that its benefits contribute. And the African Kingdom Federation, the Queen, wants to enhance your tribe, the people of African diaspora. She wants to enhance that, make sure that we're doing good, and we have to support that. We have to support. So imagine having to support my Mispatia, Muspatia, Musar. Imagine having that support so that we can do things for Patnabayananan at that level. Make them happy. Make them happy. You know what I'm saying? Man, and it hurts me, because my elder Abiyaya, you know what I'm saying, before he transitioned, was like, whatever all this is for, whatever, because he's seeing how these antisocial people around was destroying things around us. And now we have to chisel that away. We got to chisel that away, and we got to let those that are going to be um future be of a beneficial future for us. Enough. The jig is up, right? How do you, oh, my elder Ishmael, man. Peace and, oh man, all the blessings to you. Ishmael could tell you. Yeah. To start your training, I put the link there. If you look in the chat, I put the link up there. Baba, I put the link up there. I put it again if you want, and you can start doing those courses. I mean, just things you can get in. Let me try to. put it up there again. There you go. There you go. Baba, I just put it up there. Ishmael, that's my elder, my Baba. You know what I'm saying? Love you. Love you very much. And look at that. My elder, also always constantly expanding and learning. Isn't that beautiful? Expanding and learning. You know what I'm saying? And he traveled. He knows about kings and kingship and country. He knows about that. So imagine armed with the proper credentials. He already got credentials. He's got the experience. Has the experience. That's a head of state right there. I see him as a head of state right there. But Sabians gotta get with it, man. This is our elders. Big up our elders. This is our head of state right there, right? And I'm so honored that he's on here with us. Okay, head of state. And look how he's expanding, Papa Ud, expanding his experience. It doesn't, because of your age, it doesn't decline. He's a mentor, a teacher, a mentor, a teacher, and is imparting his wisdom because he has the wisdom and he has the teaching. You know what I'm saying? And so now, armed with the right credentials, oh man, powerful, powerful, powerful. You know, powerful, powerful. So, that's what it's all about. Let me drink a little water, my friend. Uh, yeah, excuse me. And so, again, like I tell you, um, at the United Nation level, man, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. Let me just share some things with you. Um, like I was saying, when you start, I already did the 19 courses and you do the certificate, right? And then you submit a pictures of you and proof that you did the courses, and then you do the modules 1, 2, and 3 that's coming directly from the Queen. Has nothing to do with Scientology, nothing to do with Scientology, nothing to do, come directly from the Queen and her wisdom and the knowledge that she knows and the ancestral pattern. And that's the module 1, 2, and 3. Powerful. Man, I'm gonna bring some of that up. Let me show you. Let me show you just a little bit of the powerful information. And I'm telling you, we have and we're and us Sabians, Nuwapians, people that study under Panabayanan, bro, we were so well prepared for a lot of things. Let me show you something here. Let me see. Look at this. Okay. Okay. Here. This is the African Kingdom Parliament Diplomatic Mission Academy Training Workshop Module 1 to 3. This is for the AKF officer training. Okay. And this goes into uh, um, speaking about the cradle. Africa is the birth cradle of all nations of this earth and people that migrate and develop parallel to each other and with each other in human evolution history. Africa and the African nations are the most resources rich continent nations on earth. A continent is one of the Earth's 7 main divisions of land, which broke apart from a supercontinent known as Pangea, and you also have Ganawa and Rondinia. I brought that up. That's going deeper into it because what I do is when I read this and then I go and I research and I read. Baba, our master teacher always told us, don't believe it, check it out. So I check it out and it lines up perfectly. This is wisdom coming from the Queen of Sheba. This is her writing this. The continents are from largest to smallest. Asia, Africa, North Africa, South Africa, Antarctic, Europe, Australia. When geographers identify continent, they usually include all the islands associated with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Africa is a continent, a massive continent. On the African continent, we have 55 nations. These are going to be on the questionnaire, which includes among 55 nations some of the most precious living and natural resources, such as animals, massive gene pool of human ancestry. Remember, that's the Earth energy center, the Earth magnetic field. When I spoke about that human ancestry that's in that country, those those houses, those queenship, those, I mean, Apanabayanan had the Ansar, those, when they go into Mahdi, and those houses, the Sunusi families, the Dangalawe tribe, the Sunusi, these are houses, rich, 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 massive gene pool, rich agricultural lands and forestry, and its animal kingdom, many species and forestry, salt lands, oil, gas, every thinkable, valuable minerals and water-rich nations in the world, including the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the richest nation on earth in natural resource and its pristine wetland, and as well the world's largest river. And Morocco, North Africa, the largest deposit of the world's phosphate, 70%, which is crucial in the world's food supply. Then it gives you a YouTube that you can hit, and videos and stuff like that. Yet there is poverty in Africa, hunger in Africa, including the world's richest nation. Ironically, being deemed financially the world's poorest nation, which is ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? So this is part of the agenda. So this is part of it. And you go on and you answer the questions. These are the modules. Once you get finished the 13 courses and you submit those certificate, you get the certificate that you can even print out, put it on your walls if you want, whatever you want to do. But you sent those certificate into the crown ambassadors, which is Kathy, and here in the United States, right? Um, Kathy's crown ambassador. You send it to her. She has it on file. She creates a file with pictures, of you and your regalia, although we're really looking really nice pictures. And then you go into the modules, you answer these questions, and you submit these. Also, I submitted all this. Yeah, these are the modules, and you answer these questions. You know, was this study useful to you? Yes. And then, what did you learn from it? And how you apply this knowledge that the represented or official? And the first, okay. And then the next module, the first civilization. So there are more modules to come. Queen has been very busy. So there's more modules because it's on studying on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? And then we get to the United Nation level. You know what I'm saying? The United Nation, that's human rights. I don't you see. In the United, no terminology. Then this is the studies for the United Nations. See, what is this? The Declaration of Human Rights has a lot to deal with it. Okay, these are the study for the United Nations. Peace and blessings. Rahuba Bad. So these are the studies, and then when you click on these studies, let me even go here. Hold on 1 second. What I'm doing. When you go into, let me see. Yeah, and I'll show you in a minute. This is where I'm at, and there's questionnaires also on this, and yeah, bring that up. See that? There come a social representative. When you click on some of these, let me see here, documents for the resolutions. You see that? Man, lots of PDF. And I got this, the document for resolution. It's a lot of studies because you got to know how the economic social council work, the consultation with the hot committees. You got to know this because this is the way you're going to navigate through the United Nations when it's your time to go there. You get your membership. It's your time to go there, and you have the queendom backing you up. You know what I'm saying? You're there to represent the queendom. You represent your nation, and you're there, and the queendom is backing you up and whatever. And you have to navigate through the General Assembly and what you can do, what you can't. You know what I'm saying? And knowing how to network, and that's a whole different venue and learning about that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I want to get my diplomatic passport. I got a regular passport, diplomatic passport, where I'm able to travel different country as a diplomat, a dignitary, as an ambassador representing the African Kingdom Federation, a parliament that's also recognized by the United States of America, the Senate. Let me see if I could find those. Man, she showed it us today. Uh, yeah. I've been here already 2 hours. Let me see if I can find it today. I'm trying to find. Let's see if I can find it. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can pull up. Man, she was in Federation. I'm trying to see. Man, she showed it. I just don't know where is that. Well, let me share this. Can navigate through here. Like I said, this is a great site. Um, if you want to find out if I said, check it out for yourself. Check it out for yourself. Believe me, check it out. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Oh, this is the video today. Mm. They coming. I gotta do some. They're gonna expect me to do some music. Oh Lord, I know that. That's coming. Um, yeah, the pound column and pass. Yeah, so you have different. Man, Queen Imperial Sheba. Man, I'm logging. Okay. There are many things. Man, I'm trying to find. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the man. I'm trying to find. She showed it to us today, and I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look for it, and it's the actual plaque from the Senate here in the United States recognizing the Parliament and that government, because Senate to Senate in all the different countries they recognize each other and they give plaques and they recognize each other. You know what I'm saying? And is recognized. It has a parliament, a government. It's nations of the nations of the South together. You know what I'm saying? Um, lot of information. Like I said, I'm studying. Sometimes I don't even go to bed. Studying, and also making out flyers. Let me show you a flyer that. Let me see if I can pull it up. I was thinking of doing this, and I just do it here, present it to you. Sorry, let me put this up here. Yeah, this is a flyer that I've been trying to create. Um, it's a flyer. Okay, let me hold on 1 second. Let me share my screen. And I like this flyer because, like I said, tell me what you think. Um, what your thought on this? Look at this. Okay, I created this flyer because I got the picture of the queendom here. Queen. I got the picture of Elijah Muhammad, Nation of Islam, reaching out to the East, right? See that? And I got two head of states here, Prime Minister Saeed Sadiq and our master teacher, Panaba Yananin. And of course, healing, because I wanted to do 9 courses, life skill classes available now, right? This picture of me back in my Ansar days. The World Peace Committee, African Union Diplomatic Mission, ARC Representative Basic Training, conducted by Honorable ARC TFO Carlos Hernandez-Pachot, aka Khepera Shuasep, also Sabur, in conjunction with the Kingdom of Sheba, Nubia Sheba African Kingdoms Federation, and that's the number that I allocated just for the podcast and also to for this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I do. So Haka, I do have. Yeah, I do have some books that I've been reading on PDF. Let me see if I could find them. Um, and it talks about, yeah, it talks about. that whole, Saba and that kingdom and stuff of this, but it deals with this Solomonic dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Because people say, "Oh, Solomon was a real person," but it's not that it was a person; it was a dynasty of people. You know what I'm saying? Like Sheba, Makeda was a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? So that's to be, s- you know, um, to unpack that. You know what I'm saying? To unpack that. But yeah, this is the flyer that I'm putting out. You know what I'm saying? But let me see. Let me look on here. Um, yeah, I might as well just keep going here. Um, let me see. Just give me 1 second. I gotta look through. Where is it? My PDF. Let me show you my PDF files here. Let's see what we can come up and see what we can find here. And you tell me what interests you. Like I said, I'm always willing to share the family. This is my PDF folder. Uh, you know, um, Prehistoric Nations. I've been reading up on that. Let me see. Let me get that out here. I'm borrowing. This one is by Manito History of Egypt, Antiquity of the Phoenicians, History. This is a book of the American Oriental Society, and it deals with the ancient Arabian language, ancient Arabian ruins and inscription, the origin of Phoenicians, on and on and on. We'll look at the Makeda and the Sheba. I don't think it's here. Let me see. Let me find it. Let me see. I was just looking at, so this here is another PDF. See this here. I don't know. You seeing that? It's the African Kingdom Royal, and this goes into Empress. This is the African Imperial Royal House, Sovereign Imperial. With that seal. Um, um, and it goes all into abbreviation terms and meaning. Or when you say the African Empire, the ancient line federation nation of multiple royal kingdoms and the government under the imperial head. So these are terms and stuff. Um, this is a PDF. This is 51 pages of stuff, man. And this talks about in terms of the name Africa is not the origin of the imperial kingdom. The name of Africa was in reference to Leo Africanus and established and adopted, excuse me, adopted as a reference name for a later generation that came to Africa. The correct and sacred name was that of the Empire of Kush, which include the empires of the imperial Kemet line nations of descendant lines of Kush, who Nimrod later referred to as Osogons II, later referred to Egypt meaning black as earth. Thereafter by the Greek as well as Ethiopia, translated Ethiopia meaning people with burnt faces in reference to complete continent of Africa. We all know this. We all been, you know, but this is interesting. This is a good read. This is on PDF. I could send this. Just let me know. Let me know. Oh, you like the flyer? Thank you very much. Let me know. But let me keep looking down here to see. Uh, okay, this is about the Sabiic language. You know what I'm saying? Proceeding of the seminar of Arabian studies. They're doing studies in Arabia, this Arabian studies. And what they did was to go into the glyphs. Look at this, the Sabiic glyphs that they found, those tablets, and they're doing their studies. The Germans, especially, I'm telling you, people out there are learning about this part of us, of this language. This is Sabiic language. You know what I'm saying? This is a nice little thing. And this is a study that they're doing, Arabic study, uh, philological remarks, and on and on and on. They even have references. In addition, many interesting linguistic traits, and talking about traits, different kings, King Seleucus, on and on and on, and about the Syrian. This is a good one too. That's another one deals with that, but the one you're looking, I'm want to look for. Um, oh, this was about Al Umari when it talks about. This is when I did my thing on. I'm just reading this Africa Lost Past. I'm reading this, and this is from the UNESCO carrier. You know what I'm saying? The great abyss of ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? The kingdom of Zimbabwe, kingdom of Benin, the March of Iron, of course, the forgotten city of East Africa, Kumbi Saleh, capital of the land of gold. Journey. Oh man, this goes in deep. Yeah, Dr. Clyde Winters. Yeah, and check D up too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, some people, you got people out there that talk this derogatory about Clyde Winters or Chuck D up and stuff like that. But these are scholars. They did what they had to do in scholar, but they also this is from UNESCO. You know what I'm saying? This is again because in UNESCO, in United Nations Education, that council, they have university in Nigeria, African professors, African universities, Timbuktu, and they what they do is these African institutions are now revisiting our traditions throughout the continent. You see, that's also part of the academy and part of maybe a project or initiative that the Queen of Sheba might embark later on. And so, collecting oral traditions and writing it and coming up with these books and papers. This is a whole new thing. Dr. Ben did that for UNESCO. A lot of great men do that. But this is the monument of an iron. Look at the great kingdom of Benin. And this is great read. They go around collect. They have the means of going around and collecting artifacts and collecting things and putting it all together. Ife and Benin, the two pinnacles of African art, worthy. It's well, you know, treasures in bronze, a march of iron across the continent. You know what I'm saying? Forgotten city of the East African coast, maritime trading city of Africa, now grew up and flourished in the east coast of the continent of pre-European time. Greatest of them was Kilwa, which was built on an island off the coast of Tanganyika, 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 which once stretched out of a mile and length and a half of the mile island. Today, only the low houses of a small village cluster on a man. Well, the capital city, the land of gold, which is Ghana was known as the land of gold, the cradle of the Sudanese Negro Islamic culture. You know what I'm saying? This must have been the house of wealthy Arab or Arab influenced merchants and other. Yeah, El Barki relates how the town. Yeah, you remember a lot of African tribes in Africa was Arabicized, so they took on Arabic names and that culture and emerged it into their own indigenous culture. And a lot of them became historians and wealthy historians. Man, this goes the greatest of Ethiopian legends in reality. This shows actually artifacts peer reviewed because this is UNESCO, the greatest of Ethiopia, and the holy city of Ethiopia adopted Christianity in the fourth century. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. The Sabiic on here, Ashanti King. That this. I'm telling you, this this book here. Why the lack of doctors in the world? Africa's largest iron sculpture. Man, I don't know what's all that about. Oh, the doctors. Yeah, crazy. Some books on Africa got references, and you can go on. And that's how I dig deep. I look at a lot of the references. Let me see what else I got. I look at a lot of the references. You know what I'm saying? This book here, the Africa and the Discovery of America, is what I use for the presentation of Sonetta. And And that people came back to me and says, well, that's something that we got to really consider because the people was writing letters and the Tainos in the Caribbeans were telling with those ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and Vasco de Gama, Pinzon, and also Crisifore Colon and his brother Diego was telling them, there's ships already here. People thinking that the only ships that came over here were the ship from Europe. No, there were African ships all around the Caribbean, Brazil, the Yucatan area, in the Mother. There were ships that were used for trading back and forth to Africa. There was bro, and this book here, right? It's from Harvard University. Bring it up. Show you. Bring it up. Harvard in 1920. This was published in 1920. Hold on. Leo Wiener, right? Professor of Slavic language and literature at the Harvard University, author of a commentary of the Germanic law and medieval documents. These Germans are something serious, bro. Contribution towards the history of the Arabico Gothic culture, history of the Yiddish literature, history of the contemporary Russian, on and on and on. Okay, in Philadelphia, this book copyright in 1920. Okay, in 1920, and he gives you Monday word. I mean, yeah, this is crazy. Crazy. You got to look at the sources. You know what I'm saying? Crazy book that was printed in 1920, published in 1920, Harvard University. Crazy. This is the stuff that we're studying, and they're looking at us like, you don't know. Remember, they know who you are. You don't know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, look at those statues. Yeah, a lot of info. Tahaka. Yep. Yep. A lot of info that prehistoric nations. Let me see. This is by who is it? I don't think I really got into this one yet. Concerning some of the great people of antiquity. You know what I'm saying? This is another book, PDF. In 1877. People were studying this way back. Way back. You know what I'm saying? Prehistoric nation, origin of the later always been subject to speculation. We see cosmological myth and legends of on and on when you read on and on and on. I like, you know what I'm saying? I like to arm myself with certain books and then again oral traditions. And I lined it up with what Panabayanan taught us and those books that he wrote. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the Ansarullah, the University of Truth, Ansarullah University of Truth. We were in a university setting and we was getting knowledge. I mean, the books he was putting out with the information, and then all I had to go to the New York University library because I had an idea. I was going to New York University and research a lot of the information, and I was able to expand more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? Um, what is this? Black Law Dictionary, the Byzantine Empire, the Celestial Coffin text, the Dead Sea Scroll. Oh, of course, the Constitution of UNN. Um, Look at this one, The Prince by Machiavelli. So you can understand government. You know what I'm saying? The mafia uses this book as in to give to their wise guys. This book's into the they this is by Nicola Machiavelli. You know what I'm saying? Okay. What is this? Secret Encyclopedia of Ancient. Of course, I got the Duncan Ritual. You know what I'm saying? What is this? It's plants and people in Africa past. Look at this. You know what I'm saying? Archaeology and archaeologobotany. Archaeology. There's so many different sciences. You know, that's what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of, and I was reading this one. Yeah, and I mean, I messed up my page. But overland entry point and sub-Sahara. This got a lot of information, bro. Lot of information. This is 27 pages. But the book that UNESCO put out, let me see. What book is Introduction to Nature, Nature Book 3? The Introduction to the Nature, Nature Book 3. I mean, you got to go into book 1 and 2 and you see This is the Khoisan DNA, the Ma Federation. Also, the signature of the pre-agricultural peopling process in the sub-Saharan Africa, as revealed by the phylogeography of early Y chromosome lineages. This is the paternal lineages and coming in the Ma Federation, and a lot of information on this one too. See how much is it? 11 pages. Man, this goes also the study of why the what chromosomes and the material method. I mean, this is genetics. I got books on genetics because I said you got to arm yourself with certain things. Of course, my Monday glyph, viruses and man and the history of interaction. Which one is this? This is marriage and morals. Viruses and man and a history of interaction. Great book right there. What is this? This is the genetic. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I brought this also in the presentation I did of the disembarkment of the ships in the Mali Empire and those ships and how it matches up and how the disembarkment of the slave ships didn't match up with the genetics only in certain sections and it adds up because I also had all of the shipping records. I gotta look for it again. I had all the shipping records and how many slaves were on the ship because they kept records, you know. Of course, Mona Island, New Say a Truth is let me see what I'm looking for here. Which one is this? The University of Chicago or publications. This is from the University of Chicago. The Egyptian coffin text. Okay. This is just commentary and coffin text. And then I actually go into the coffin text and read it. You know what I'm saying? My metadata game is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty good. I'm studying on physics for engineers and scientists, the third edition. Check that out. Volume one, and this is volume two. Check that out. Physics. Queen of Sheba. Oh, here it goes. This is what you was looking for, Tahaka. And this is 279 pages. I'm on to page 83 concerning the kingdom. Okay. Yeah, this goes into again the Kabras Nagast. Kebra Nagas concerning the kingdom of Seth. Now, this is dealing with biblical narrative, but how they took, you know what I'm saying? In order for you to tell a lie and fractal, you got to get it from the whole and you got to get it from the truth. So all you got to do is dig deep and deep and deep. It's not that I subscribe too much to the biblical narrative because it's fractalized, a lot of contradiction fractalized. So I try to match it up to see does it match with historical records, right? Genetic records, historical records, and so, and seeing what's out there. So this is that narrative concerning the flood. You know, so this is just, you know, the Kabbalah Nagas, knowing about this thing because people talk about you know biblical stories and stuff, and which are really Sumerian stories, you know, concerning canon, you know, saying, and this just tells you concerning Abraham, you know, and there's more information. Like for instance, when we were studying the Quran as Ansar, he Apanabayanan also introduced us to the Suhuf, what they call pure pages. You know what I'm saying? He introduced us to the Suhuf and introduced us to other books that are missing. This is one of the books that go about the Queen of Sheba and the whole biblical narrative and stuff like that. So Terah begot a son called Abraham. And when Abraham was 12 years of his age, Father Terah sent him to sell idols. And he said, these are not gods that can make a deliverance. And he took away the idols to sell even to his father had commanded. And he said unto those whom he would sell them, do you wish to buy gods that cannot make deliverance? Things made of wood and stone and iron brass, which the hand of the heart have made. Yo, this gives you a different biblical narrative and it's wisdom and it helps. For instance, there's a story that Patna Bayanan told us about. Ibrahim and Abraham, right? About that, he and and this is the way he gets it from, that he was his father left him in charge of the idols because they were carvers and were making idols. They would kept the idols of the village, right? All the idols and stuff like that. So there was always one. So what happened is Abraham was young and he was playing around the idols and broke a couple by mistake, accident, broke some of the idols. So he had to explain this to his father. You know what he did? He hanged an axe around the big idol, and then when his father asked him, "What did you do?" He says, "I didn't do it. That God did it." And then that's when he knew he was a prophet. That's when he knew he had a special type of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because here you are trying to tell me this, kick this narrative about idols and this and that. But he just oh yeah, he's here. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, this is where he get it from. From the Cabra Nagast. So our master teacher taught us about that because he knew we was in, he knew brothers this is coming from the biblical narrative, and he just gave you other books and perspective to draw wisdom out of it, you know. And this is crazy. Yeah. And this is from the Sohuf, Cabra Nagas, Zion. Yep, yep. And this is what a lot of the you know, a lot of Hebrews would love to get their hand on this one. And here, and with Nubian kings and hieroglyphics. And this is talking about Solomon sowing power to keep. Oh yeah, he summons the elder Israel. This is a story of Solomon when he met the Queen of Sheba, Makeda, and that story. That story. These are still again history stories, original stories that are told. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get into, that type of stuff. I do, and this is 279 pages. Queen of Sheba. Like I said, you gotta Prince Eli. Uh-huh. So you just got to get at me. This is the story of Makeda, daily versing with Solomon. She learned from him about God of the Hebrews, the creator of the heavens and earth. She herself worshipped the sun, moon, and star because she was Sabig. You know what I'm saying? That's a Sabah, that constellation, the star Sirius. It's not that we worship stars, it's that we have we revere, we reverence. It's the star energy center that is funnel, what I'm saying, into the sun and funnel within our body. It's a whole. I just can't go into it right now. You know what I'm saying? So this is all biblical stuff. As I'm saying, a lot of PDF files on here. Oh man, hey, shout out to Padrino. Padrino's here. Shout out. Plato. Yeah. Yeah, you got Plato, Socrates, and all those. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they were doing their thing that they needed to do for the Greeks, but we predate all that. You know what I'm saying? We predate all that. Yeah. So Padrino's here, man. You got to see the stuff that I pulled up with the Kingdom of Benin and the Kingdom of the Ife and Shante. I'm gonna bring it up. That's my Padrino's here. You missed it. Let me bring that up for you. Let me bring that up for you. Check this out. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? No, 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 no. That's not it. No, no. I gotta go back now. Korea, where is it? Where are you? Man, Padrino, here you go. And it's in UNESCO. Check this out, Padrino. Now that Piri is here, my Padrino. Oh, wait a minute. Here, oh, you can see it. Yeah. Here we go. In Ethiopia. Look at this. The statues and look at this. Ancient statues. Here's a map. Recovery of Africa, the Congo, many. But look at this. The reprisal of African past. Wait until you see the great Zimbabwe, Benin, the medieval Benin, and look at this. The two pinnacle of African art, the Ife and Benin. You see, we can talk. like, I love my padrino, and I learn a lot from him when it comes to, that Yoruba. And this is Ife, the city Ife. There's artifacts when you learn about these things. In other words, this is a science and evidence, artifacts of these tribes in Ife. You know what I'm saying? And these tribes, these came over to Cuba, came over to Puerto Rico. That's where we get this whole, and Santeria, look at me, Santeria was the hiding of a lot of these, principles, and hiding it with Catholicism, because they couldn't come out in the open. But when they started to come back into out in the open, and get back into these sciences, and part of it is that the art told a story. That's oral tradition in Africa, especially also Ife. There were craftsmen. In other words, in certain African village, the weave basket, when they weave the basket and they taught that craft, was taught to a certain family, had the craft weave basket. There was a story that was told along with the actual weaving of the basket, and the connection that that had with the multiverse. The Dogons in Mali speaks about that. The connection and the weaving. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, in other words, today's example is like when you teach a child how to tie a shoe, you say, and this little pig went around this one and went in and on, so they can learn how to. You see, there's stories that are told, and so a lot of these African art, tells a story, because these were craftsmen. What they call in West Africa, in effect, they call them griots. Griot were oral tradition orators that had a craft. For instance, if I'm building a drum and I'm carving the drum, I'm telling a story as I'm teaching, right? The initiative, how to carve the wood, how to make the drum. There's certain stories that came with it. And those stories, oral traditions, were secrets of the particular craft. So these are bronze casting. This was crafted by these Ife treasures in bronze, the Bronze Age in Africa. The iron, of course, you know what I'm saying? The iron, when you deal with Ogun, the iron, there's a story that goes with that. But there are artifacts, ancient artifacts that exist in the country of Benin, in Ife, that exists. That's powerful. Powerful. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at. And that's what I mean, that, I'm in search of that knowledge. And also, like I said, with the African Kingdom Federation. Um, Earlier Sabian, look at this one here. For those who Sabiic. Because remember, we're this resetting, renewing a civilization, which is an African civilization. Well, Seba is in Africa. Seba is a language. It's one of the oldest written language in Ethiopia, in Sudan, in these time, in Yemen, in Arabia, which was part of Africa. That's why in Masonry they say when the moon parted from the sun, Africa's the sun, Arabia's the moon. It parted. It was once part of the same continent. And I'm gonna pull that up in a few minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm going on a marathon here, you know. But this one here, the earliest to be in Jawef, a reconstruction, okay? And this is in the Oriental Institute of the Russian Academy of Science in Moscow. These people are in these universities around the world are looking into your culture. But we also have institutions, we have Timbuktu and also Nigeria. We have our institutions also. But this is a global thing. This is UNESCO. This is a global thing. When you have, because you have also in Moscow, ancient Slavic people that came from Africa. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They just don't let you know that. They hide a lot of that stuff. They're called Black Russians, man. Yo, this gets deep. And these are the peer review and the proof. The Papyrus of Ani. This is a good book, The Prophet. I love that. The Born Stone. Oh, man. The Born Stone. People talk about the born stone and these glyphs. Oh man, yo, these are stone that are. And I'm thinking, where is it? In Philadelphia now? Or Westchester? I don't know where that. But the barn stone, the native meeting house, the Native Americans protected this. This is proof that also these Mali Empire, those 2,000 ships, some of them sailed into went into North America and amalgamated with the Mesoamerican and brought glyphs with them, established houses, African houses that become African lodges, and then later became those African lodges. Later became the Masonic African lodges. Later became your city halls and courts and churches that are throughout. In New York, there's a Central Church, a Trinity Church, was a Masonic, a African Masonic lodge that was taken over by the European and then made into a church because the church is set up like a lodge. Yo, yeah, ancient Slavic Moors. Yep, yep. So these, man, when you go into and you go into a lot of these, which I'm gonna probably do soon. I want to go to Philadelphia, and I got a student out there that wants to take me around, and we want to do treasure hunting and look at. And he showed me some statues of one of the first African lodges out there. That right now it's City Hall in Philadelphia, the capital, the real capital of America. It's Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when you look at and you go and you research the statues and you see the melanated hair, the kingly hair, and you see this and this black statues, and man, bro, it's there. It's all there. And this is the barn stone. It's all there with these glyphs. And you can see the footprints. These are people that came over. And this is a seal. This is a treaty. This is what this is. A treaty with the Native American. These are Africans. These are Mali Mande glyphs, Punic Mande glyphs coming and setting foot and giving the seal of approval. Bro, this goes in deep, 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 deep. What else do we have? This is them goes to them. This book right here. This book was presented to me by the Queen of Sheba, African Kingdom Federation. Let me tell you something. This is 840 pages of information that is. This is general history of Africa, the methodology in the African prehistory, right? This is from the look at that from the Ma Federation, the hunter gatherers, right? This going so deep, deep, man. This, yo, if you can read 800, this goes in crazy, crazy, crazy. And it references a lot of these, and this is from UNESCO, the International Scientific Committee of the Drafting of General History of Africa, because they wanted to again draft the general history of Africa, so they had to go collecting oral traditions and matching it up with genetics and so and so and so, and that's what this is, a peer review. This goes in, man, so much information in here. Um, and it takes you from, man, list of plates. This book is 800, oh man, 840 pages, and it's unbelievable. You know, let me just read the director of UNESCO, Amadou Mahtar Mambo, African. For a long time, all kinds of myth and prejudice concealed the true history of Africa from the world at large. Because you had a lot of European that was hiding this. African society were looked upon as society that could have no history, in spite of important work done by such pioneers as Leo Frobenius, Maurice de Officis, Arturo Lambrolia. Early as the first decade of the century, a great many non-African experts could not rid themselves of certain preconceptions and argue that the lack of written resources and document made it impossible to engage in any scientific study of such society. Although the Iliad and the Odyssey were rightly regarded as essential sources of histories of ancient Greece, African oral traditions, the collective memory of people which hold the thread of many events marking their lives, was rejected as worthless. You see? In writing the history of a large part of Africa, the only sources used were from outside the continent at one time. And the final product gave a picture not so much of the path actually taken by the African people as of those that the author thought they must have taken. Since European Middle Ages were often used as a yardstick, modes of production, such relations, social relations, and political institutions were visualized only by reference to the European past. But that's been switched because now you got African historians, Africans going into the records of Timbuktu because they're reading Arabic, going to the records of Timbuktu, going into the oral traditions of the different tribes, like Apa Nabayanan did when he went out to the different tribes of Sanusi and Nungalawe and with the Ansars in the east over there, right in Sudan, and gaining oral traditions and then putting them in books and matching it up with other sources. It's work to be done. The work that has been done. You know, again, I got the Erdem of and this Dr. Ben book here, Black Man of the Nile and His Family, in a PDF, which I'm gonna start reading pretty soon. I haven't really gotten into it, but you know what I'm saying. So a lot of information here, lot of information, y'all. And the more I got more and more and more all get scattered around. Let me see the United Nations folder. Uh, Pick in the Nile Valley, Borinquen also. Um, so when you finish your courses, you're gonna get. You see, those are the pictures that I took. But these are the certificate. These are the questions, the modules. I answer the questions. These are the certificate that you will be receiving, and these are the certificate. Oh, sorry. Ah, see, uh, church volunteer ministers present the certificate certificate completed children online courses, and I did it in November 2022. Wow, yeah. So you get a certificate like this. You can print them out, put them up, or now you just have them, but you have to present them so to make sure that you did those 19 courses, and then with the classes you discuss them. And again, like I told you, I lined up a lot of this. Whatever school of thought you're in, you can even be into Yoruba Ife, Santeria, whatever, and you have oral traditions and you have certain principles, certain doctrine, where you line them up with that. You see how beneficial that can be for your tribe, for your nation, for your school of thought. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? So I align myself a lot with a lot. What is this here? Oh, this is the United Nations. Yeah, I'm studying about the the way. Yeah. So again, you know, it would take me 2 months. Yeah, yeah. Well, let me know. I said, get at me. I'll send you the PDF to that. And you read it little by little. I do it. I don't do it all at once. On one reading. I'm the type that I could sit down and read a book straight. 800 something. Yeah. But a lot of times, you also want to take your time and digest it and make sure you have a dictionary because there's, and that's what I'm gonna bring this in that to study, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I've been already here almost 3 hours, but this is from one of the courses. No, wait, do this. This is from one of the courses, right? And from the one of the courses is removing learning blocks. So the first block, so if you're reading, right, the first block that we have was something that prevents progress, right? A block that can prevent you from becoming a successful student in any subject is the willingness to know. You have to overcome that. You have to have this willingness to know. Remember, you not believing, right? But to know and to investigate. You have to have this willingness to know something, in order to become a good student of nature, a good student of life, and a good student in anything you do. You have to be willing to know because this is the first gate that has to be open to begin any study because it is the gate. Because if that gate remains closed, it will prevent you from understanding whatever you're trying to learn. You must be willing to learn and find out about things you don't know. I always say that. I know what I know, but I always want to find out things that I don't know. You fact. I need to know things that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If you study a subject when you think you already know about it, you will run into trouble. Even when in my music, even with percussion playing, with my playing percussion. If I act like I know everything about the congas or rhythms and whatever, and African rhythms, I stop growing. I always want to know more. So I'm always constantly practicing and different techniques and practicing different and getting and looking at YouTube videos of other percussionists and the stuff that they do to learn. One of the greatest master out here in percussion, Giovanni Hidalgo, is like that. He'll sit down with you and he'll says, as I'm teaching you, I'm learning from you certain things. And you can see his eyes sparkle like, whoa, what? Oh, it's a sponge. He learns, always willing to learn what I don't know. Always willing to know what I don't know. You can't go around thinking you know it all. You know what you know, but always trying to find out things that you don't know. That's overcoming that block of being a good student. You know what I'm saying? So if you study a subject, okay, um, instead of studying it to learn something new and understanding it, you will get into such thing as trying to learn the facts word for word without understanding them. That's another class, understanding, overstanding, standing to reason. You can get into memorizing them so you don't forget them and other odd things like that. None of these systems or way of doing things add up to any knowledge and they don't make you more capable. Memorization doesn't make you more capable. When you know something and you willingness to know it in and out, man, it's different than just memorizing something. So I'm the type, I can't just memorize anything. I have to get to know it in and out, and it has to become part of that my character and personality, and I have to be part of that. This is it's a skill, man. It's able to study it. To be able to study a subject, you have to be willing to study it to find out what there is to be learned. Anything that I study, I want to see what is in there that I need to learn. So in learning anything, what I don't know, I want to know what I don't know so I can learn it. You know what I'm saying? The doctrine is like that. Wu Sabat. I don't think I know everything about Wu Sabat. I want to know what I don't know about Wu Sabat or about my Mispati al Hajj, my language, that language, which of the re-civilization and the new language for the new beings, the renewing of the beings, speaking that language to unify us, you know? And you can know English or French or whatever, but to know an African language from Sudan or Sebig or Yemen or that predates Arabic, to know Sabiic language, what an honor that is, you know, an honor. That's another thing. That's another class that, like I said, if those of you that want to again rock with me, and then I put you in a class where you learn Sabiic language, on and on and on. You expand your knowledge, expand your experience. You know what I'm saying? And then with the African Kingdom Federation, there's many things we're gonna learn. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, man. Well, anyway, let me just finish this. That doesn't mean you should ignore the things you do know that are valuable, right? It takes a bit of judgment to be able to look over a subject and know what you know and know what you don't know about it. But it can be done. You know what you know about the subject, but then what you don't know is what you want to learn. You can say to yourself, well, there are parts of this I don't know anything about, and I will have to look into it and study what there is to know about it. Always. And I appreciate with individuals like that. It's like, man, well, there are parts of this I don't know anything about. And I will have to look into it and study what there is to know about it. When you can do this, you have overcome the first obstacle to learning. When it boils down to it is this: your ability to learn depends on the willingness to learn. And the biggest single block to learning is your decision that you already know all about it. This is the door you got to crack open. And once you have cracked that door open, you can learn anything from there on. And the use of study technology. This is an applied a technology of learning how to study. Again, the mind, the mindful, the ability to learn depends on the willingness to learn. And the single block is learning is your decision that you already know all about it. That's the biggest single block. How can you learn? You think you already know everything already? You ain't gonna learn nothing. Learn what you don't know. That's why, you know, my elder Ishmael, I love him to death. I rock with people that like, because I'm the same way. You know, a lot of things I don't know. I want to know. I want to know it. And so, in the African Kingdom Federation, it's the same thing. Whenever if I was to go on a summit and talk about, oh yeah, yeah, and I know this, I know that, and you think you know it all, and you're gonna throw doctrine because you know all, you read all the books, so you know it all. People get tired of that. I mean, I've learned my lessons, and now when I have conversations, I'm asking questions. I want to learn what I don't know. And I want to learn about the experience, the expression, and the experience. I want to be able to say, well, Wu Sabat is teaching me what experience can I experience with Wu Sabat, with this ancient, tradition. Wait, Sabah. What can I learn from this African tradition? What can I learn from that? You know, don't come out here like I think I know it all. Yeah, yeah, people that go, they think they know it all. I like some of the student teachers that get up there and they'll refer back to the books and then they'll tell you in a minute, no, I don't know the answer to that question, but I'll dig deep and I want to know what I don't know and I want to go look deep into it, you know. But when you got people that come up like I said before, as propagating almost 44 years ago when I was in the street, 17 years old, propagating the books and I was speaking to people. I ran into certain people that were mad and they were very mad at me because I walked around in a robe and in an Emma because they met somebody else that had dressed like me with this doctrine who was beating them down and act like they knew it all. When I converse with the 5 percenters or converse with Christians, I ask some questions and I want to know, what do you know? What I don't know about your school of thought, and then to see that and by example they see that and then they ask me, well, what about this and that? So when the questions are being asked both ways, Get the word question. You're on a quest for truth and facts. Now you can walk down that path with the person. Okay. Now we can learn. We're learning together. Here, I'm learning. We're learning together. I'm learning with you. I show you all those PDFs, but I haven't read all of it. And I'm learning as I go, learning more and more and more, and the experiences. And I want to know what I don't know, and I want to know what you come up. You know, how you your perspective and how you see it, and what you learn. Okay, and that's what it's about. Well, anyway, um, an acknowledgement. And I thank everybody for hanging there. Hey, Tori Bolton. Hello, Silos. Terry, you sound familiar. Oh, Tori. I think I know who you are. I think you're the brother that be on Sanetta. I'm not too sure. But anyway, yeah, greetings to you. Um, and what I'm saying, for those of you coming in now, you're just gonna have to just rewind, and we spoke about a lot, and I presented to you the Queen of Sheba African Kingdom Federation, and again, apply political science at a global venue, United Nations and African Union, and also the Federation Kingdoms of these African kingdoms, and spreading over to the African diaspora, the Caribbeans, Latin America, even to Europe. You know what I'm saying? Even all over, Asia. You know what I'm saying? And all over, all over. You know what I'm saying? And you know, again, I show you just right about the 19 courses, which is just a prerequisite, and just to get you to see within yourself and see those antisocial characteristics. Learn and again, work with that. You know what I'm saying? As just a prerequisite. Then you get into the modules. You know what I'm saying? And learning about the cradle of Africa and history, and then also reading on and doing the studies. I'm still studying a lot of those things about the cradle, the historicity of African studies and stuff like that, because it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's many nations and kingdoms and a lot of ancient kingdoms in the continent of Africa. And then today there's still a lot of kingdoms and queendoms and chiefs and nations within Africa, 55 nations to be right. And so it's a process. You go on and on and on. And right now, again, the United Nations studies. Again, get out of that speculative stuff and apply science to it. And this is the science of study. This is the science of technology, of skills that we can use to better ourselves and then live an example for our family, our community, what I'm saying, our nation, our tribe, our nations, and humanity. You know what I'm saying? When we recognize those antisocial characteristics within ourselves, suppressive personalities within ourselves, and we do the shadow work and we work with that, and then we're living the example, then hey, that's one for our team, social being. You know what I'm saying? Start cutting out those antisocial people. And some people are just antisocial, suppressive personality because they've been traumatically, traumatically hurt, traumatized and stuff like that, and it's genetically, and so we have to repair that. This is the resetting, just like the conjunction of the planets was reset, and civilization being reset, and currencies being reset. Our story is reset, and yourself, your minds, your soul, your body, everything has to be reset. Even to the point of how you eat has to be reset. That's what's happening in the planet right now. When we align ourselves with natural nature, it's being reset. You know what I'm saying? We're going into a new era, and we want to go in there banging, bro. We want to go into the new era, this new, renewed civilization. We want to go into it establishing a legacy, for a beneficial legacy for our children, our youth, on and on and on. Enough of that bull crap out there. Enough. Resetting ourselves, resetting even our tones and frequencies when it comes to music. Resetting ourselves. Like I said, learning to reset yourself and learning to again, that's why it's so important with these science and technology when it comes to this study. Those 19 courses is just a beginning. It's just the beginning. That's all it is. It's just to give you a taste of what the technology. It's just a beginning. And then when the wisdom that the Queen of Sheba, Kasambura, right, Deborah Amelia, has, you know what I'm saying? Powerful. And then also master teacher and Panabayananin, you know what I'm saying? And the stuff that he imparts and wisdom out there, you know what I'm saying? And our elders and the wisdom and on and on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's it. Gonna leave it there. Um, right. I like that Tahaka. I like that Tahaka says, I often say, stop complaining and start winning. Exactly. Remember, this is a renewing of our legacy, a renewing of a civilization, a renewing of linguistics, language, a renewing of our tongue, a renewing of our electromagnetic forces. The earth is renewing itself. The sun is renewing itself. The stars are involved. This is a galactical renewing. Let's say it like that. This is a galactical renewing. Be part of it because it has a lot to do with you. So we spend so much time with the civilization that has been antisocial and did what it had to do for that time period. Now this is a new era, the sun cycle, the sun cycle, the re-revolutionary cycle, the up re-revolutionary cycle, right? This is the renewing of it. And so we have to, again, align ourselves, with all the magnetic forces at the echo environment, align ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Align ourselves, get to know genetic blueprints and your ancestral pattern, get to know the ancestral pattern of Africa and how that deals and impacts us. Like right now, that's impacting us because there's a queendom that's in place, a parliament, beginning of a civilization, an African civilization renewing itself. Simple. And so there's work that has to be done. And you have to find those that are for it so you can help your community. I want to help the people in Haiti, people in Borinquen, people in New York. I'm here in North Carolina, people in North Carolina, people not know in Orlando. I want to be that example. No, not that I want to be. I am. I am an initiative master. I am. So are you. Not in the sense of the schooling that I've been through. Not everybody needs to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's to recognize certain things and seeing how we all can stick musar. See, we say musar sticky. We stick to each other like that when we know it's beneficial. I ain't gonna stick with nobody that's gonna be derogatory, and those people are gonna try to bring me down. Well, don't stick on me. Oh no, oh no, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be those that are beneficial, those that are gonna, again, like Tahaka says, winning, winning. If anything, win for you, win for your family, win for your tribe, your community, win, 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 win. grow, expand, papaut. Remember that. Pa the paut, expansion, expanding, which is the doorway to Panabayanan. So we said papaut. The Doggins in Mali says pau, pau, right? Paut, expansion. You know, I don't want to get too into preaching and stuff like that, but it's not preaching and not teaching. This is just expressing this balancement that we all have, that we all can balance ourselves. And it's time now. We're winning. We are winning. Hold up, hold up, hold up. We're winning. Keep it up. We're winning, winning, winning. Those antisocial characteristics, you get that. Hey, what? Forget about it. Forget about it. We're winning for the children, for the soul. We're winning. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Antisocial people. Whoa. They're weird. Weird. Because we, again, winning. I applaud you. Right? Antisocial people. Say hi to my little friend. And don't mess with me. And listen, you're weird like that. Listen. Cheer, children, cheer. You know what I'm saying? Because we're winning. The jig is up, y'all. The jig is up. You can't fool people anymore with your speculative when you don't have applied science. I'm not falling for that anymore. And I want to bring in applied sciences, even to my brothers and sisters from the Yoruba. They'll apply sciences in there, you know, to link up. It says, listen, if you go talking about Ogun, what do you know about metal? What do you know about building actual metal and working with metal? What do you know about the patina and the different coloring of bronze and the different type of metal and stuff like that? Gotta know this, you know? You know? Oba Ta'ala. What do you know? What do you know about Ochung? What do you know about Yemaya, Yamoya? Oh, water Ma, Yama, Yama. Okay? Oh, water, because we all come from the womb when the water breaks. You know what I'm saying? That's linguistics. Taking it to linguistics. You know what I'm saying? And then apply science to that. Learning about the waters, learning about oceanography. Then you got geographical oceanography, learning about that. Learning about death, life and death. The more life there is, the more death there is. And death is just a recycle of what life is. Knowing about that. Oh, yeah, knowing about that. You know what I'm saying? Bringing in these as applied science, which is called linguistics, into it, and then expanding, because the jig is up. I'm telling you, a lot of speculative talk, but there's no applied science. But the jig is up because there are people out there applying it. Every day you walk on pavement, sidewalk, those were created by operative masons dealing with cement, operative masons, those engineers, civic engineers, zoning and planning civic engineers, surveyors. There's applied sciences with the very sidewalk and street you walk. The very car that you get in was a technology, right? Of vehicle technology, of motor technology. everything. And it deals with mathematics and design. Those are engineers. Apply sciences. Get out of the narrative stuff. Get out of the speculative stuff. And let's start leaning more to apply so our children can be inspired and they can be those engineers. So we can build a better society. Engineers, architectures, and scientists do the work that's beneficial. Agriculture and farming, all of that. The technology of studies in the schools has to be taught to our children. See, when you learn these 19 courses, yeah, and you do volunteer work, you go to school and you can tell these children, listen, you're not learning because there's blocks that stop you from studying and being a good student. You know, one of the first block that you have to overcome is the one called willingness to learn. And you have to constantly tell yourself, I know what I know, but I want to find out what I don't know. When you put this in the mindset of your children, they look at it and they say, damn, I know what I know, but I'm trying to they want to find out things that they don't know. They do that inquisitively. They do that innately. But we kill that spirit in them and that soul, that expression in them when we give them a lot of narratives. And then we act like we know. We act like we know because those speculative narratives from the Bible, but they don't have applied sciences. See, I could take the Bible and I can apply. You see, that's what Mason does. I could take Quran. I can use applied sciences to actually build a community off of those morals and principles. There are certain, what they call organization, the science of organizing. You know what I'm saying? Well, when we raise our children, and they're conscious of this, that there's applied sciences, there's a technology involved in everything you do. But we sticking with so much speculative. That's why they fall into gangs. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like my 5% people. You know, what is it? The earth and God, God and earth, the gods of heaven of earth. You know what I'm saying? 5%ers. But I taught a lot of them because when they come to me with a mathematic talk, I say, oh, wait a minute. What does that have to do with applied sciences? What has to do with geometry? Let me break this down to you. And I give them a geometry form or in an algebraic expression. I tell them this is mathematics. Because you can build with this. You can use it in engineering. You can put these figures, these certain theorems, you can put them into AutoCAD and build plans to build a building with these type of mathematics. Not the mathematics you're talking, because that's speculative. Man, I had a lot of 5%ers flock to Ansar Allah community because they were like, yo, no one never said that to me. I said, yo, this is real mathematics. The science of creation of mathematics. I broke it down to them. You know, with the dot becoming the circle and then the square, and then you put the circle in the square, creates the eye. Bro, I can bring that up one day. We'll do a class on that. But let me tell you something. They were like, wow, man. I see them walking into class and becoming inside. I'm like, that's good. I did. All I did was be honest with them and and use. You talking mathematics to me? The only thing I understand, well, mathematics. Well, I'm just talking about engineering or stuff like that. Not this mathematics of today. 2022, 222, 111, and the clock. That's all speculative shit, man. I'm sorry. That's speculative. You can't do nothing with that. You can't. You can't even change that time. You can't do nothing with it. But now, apply the sciences, build me a clock. Huh? Build me a clock by using that mathematic in the system. And they talk about lining, 222, and then use the tarot card. And this and that. That's all speculative. That's not magic. Because when you read into even the Hermetic principles and you read with Tahuti, they're alchemists, there is a speculative and then there's an operative of actually dealing with chemistry. I got the PDF on that. Chemistry, dealing with alchemy, with metal, learning about metal and learning about chemistry and learning that's applying that, not the speculative stuff. Tarot card. Don't read me with no damn tarot card. No, no. Or stones and this and no. Why tell me about my future, right? Because I dictate what's gonna be my future by what I do now. But why tell me about something that I can't change? You telling me that I no matter what I do, I can't change? No, that's speculative. That's not actual applied science. The science of knowing the dynamic of existence, knowing the difference between reality and illusions. That's science, applied sciences. What's reality and knowing about atoms, knowing about things that are tangible. Come on, you can go deep into that conversation. Don't give me that speculative stuff. No. You know what you're doing? You're opening up a gateway for ignorance, to ignore reality, right? And a depleted inspirational. So they call spiritual ditress, spiritual caca, spiritual caca. You got a lot of that going on. They don't want facts. They don't want to apply science and technology facts. They want spiritual caca, speculative. If you're going to talk to me about the cemetery and death and Palo, talk to a mortuary, a person that deals with dead bodies and learn how to embalm a body and preserve cells like the ancient Kemetic. Talk about that. What? That science is powerful. That today's day and time, you have cells living in some of these mummies that they have them in the British Museum, mummies that still have cells. Are you kidding me? That's science and technology, applied science, technology, mortuary. Don't talk to me about the speculative stuff. It's cute. It's fun. Islam. I self, Lord and Master. Master of what? You yourself, master of what? What have you mastered? Allah, arm, leg, arm, and leg. When you deal with actual linguistics in Arabic, Allah is an Arabic word. It does not. It does not mean arm, leg, arm, and leg, a head. It does not mean that. Because you're dealing with linguistics, applied sciences of linguistics. But you got all these cute narrative and doctrine. That's doctrine. That's the shadow. You see, you have to do shadow work. You have to look at that doctrine. You got to get on the side of connecting to the source of thing. And you got to deal with applied sciences. Or else you're going to be raising a generation of speculative, of bums, of individual that had the capability to become an engineer, a technological engineer, or an architecture, or a scientist, right? Not doctors, because I don't, that's pharmaceutical stuff, but an actual healer with herbs or healing with electricity, because Bruce Lee did that, or dealing with kinesiology, you know what I'm saying? You depleted a young mind, that reservoir. You depleted it by giving it spiritual ditress, by giving it ignorance, giving it speculative shit. That's the old world. That's no longer. This new world, the sun, this sun cycle, the new world is about facts. The truth is the truth. Facts. Don't duck because you'll be a fool. Don't duck because you will be a fool. Take the truth out. If you think that this is not true for what I'm telling you, let me know. Let me know. But I'm telling you, enough of this crap. Why? Because I'm looking at the babies. These babies. These babies are inspiring to want to be freaking rappers, right? For a company that don't even care for them, a record label that's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Don't even care for them. They want to be just rappers and rappers. If you're gonna be rappers, rap about something beneficial. Rap about your culture. Don't rap about the damn nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And then you want to be in the music industry, but then you don't know nothing about going into a studio and knowing about acoustic engineering. Even frequencies of how sound are carriers of consciousness and carry information. There's a lot of things you don't know, but they want to inspire to be a famous rapper. They want to be the next Tashaki 69 or Young Thug. They want to be the next what this guy got that brother's name shit Biggie or the other one damn Tupac. Tupac. They want to be the next Tupac. You see these rappers, they all sound like either Young Thug or Tupac. And I do it. Sometimes I play songs to my son and they tell me, oh man, yeah, he sounds like Tupac or he sounds like Biggie. I had this dude rapping today. He sound like a cowboy from the Grandmaster Fly and he sound like Biz Markie. Everybody, they did what they had to do. That's their talent or whatever. But then you're gonna come mimic that. Learn, our children want to be, it's okay if you're going to be an athlete, but then learn about the body. If you're going to be athletic, learn about the body. Learn about how Bruce Lee, what he did to his body. Learn about the type of herbs and the eating and the muscles. Like I have students that do that, and they're very well advanced in that. And you look at their body, you're like, damn, man, they got that science down, you know? But then you have these, want to be a football player, they want to be a basketball player, or baseball, but they have no technology of the physical body. And so these children are being, we're losing when we deal with that. But when you have this conversation with them about applied sciences and being real, don't give me that speculative stuff. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. I mean, I rock with a lot of sisters and brothers and things and fight and stuff like that. But then I'm looking at it, I'm looking for things that I don't know. And I'm looking, well, wait a minute, what are they lacking here? What's going on here? What are they lacking? You know what I'm saying? And bro, the jig is up. And it's not because of me, it's because that's natural nature. Natural nature. What side are you going to be on? That's the Armageddon. That's that war of principality. What side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side that of preserving the legacy and the future and the contribution to humanity, the future of the beneficial future? Or are you going to be on the side that's going to be losing, speculative all the time and just talking, but not actually doing it? You know, come on, man. Music to me is a science. It's a science of tone. It's a science of music, and it's actually frequencies and rhythm and frequencies. I have my studio. You know what I'm saying? I write, so I put songs together. I even mix some of the songs that my son does because he's into that little rapping thing. But then I'm trying to get it to him and says, but he wants to learn Pro Tools. He wants to learn engineering in the studio. And I said, but that's good. That's good because it shows me that you're having the sense that it's much more than that because you now you can master your songs and record it and master it. And then when you go further into building a studio, you go to acoustical engineering. And then you can even work for what your community, your city, when it comes to noise reductions and area, civic engineering. Man, there's so much. I, come on. What side are you gonna be on? Tell me, what side you gonna be on? Right now, the African Kingdom Federation, the Queen of Sheba, African Kingdom is again a parliament, a government, a structure that's in place, pol- political at the same time, cultural and traditional, ancestral. What side you gonna be on? Are you just gonna be flip flopping, and disconnect to yourself of what's really happening in the globe? Nah, come on. What side you gonna be on? Are you gonna be on the side of expansion, or are you gonna be the sign of order, ma'at, or are you gonna be on the side of each foot? A contracting. What side you gonna be on? Because that's where we're getting at. It's you're gonna have to determine, and what you move that you make is gonna affect, impact you as a person, your family, your children, your legacy, your community, your nation, and humanity. A section of humanity. What side are you going to be on? Is it right and wrong? Right? Right? Side you gonna be on? Again, get out of that speculative stuff. All these people talking, and people talking about Christianity or whatever, right? And they go to church or whatever, and they're trying to push Christianity, right? But you have people, they still a church, right? And they're still in the storefront. They can build a building, buy land and build a building and have their engineers, their architecture, build a building with a construction, a Christian. Our ancestors did that in ancient times. What are you building? We took Islam and we built a mosque, an actual mosque in Bushwick in Brooklyn. 3 mosques to be exact. 3 of them in Bushwick. That's applied science. You see, that's taken, right? Israelites. What temple? What synagogue? But you're getting so much into the speculative stuff that your children are not. You're not bringing up your children to be architects, scientists, where they're able to build a temple, so that you can go to this temple and see the works, like their ancestors did, and see the work. The people that are into Santeria Yoruba, what temple? When you go to Ife or you go to Nigeria, you see actually palaces, artifact and palaces. You're not building no palaces here. We lost those rights and that technology because we got what? We dropped reality and we got into, again, speculative stuff. We've been deceived. We've been bamboozled. Bamboozled. You know? And I want to push us to look into that. It's applied sciences, man. You know, you want to connect yourself to Earth, then learn about Earth magnetism. Learn where the area you at. Take a compass, learn devices and see what kind of magnetic, the rocks in your environment. That's how you connect. Not with the, Crystal, walking barefoot, I use sometimes meditation, but you know what I'm doing? Right? Linguistically. Ah, and with the tones, linguistically. It helps me with the linguistics, applied science. Okay? But I don't walk around. Really? That's not my heart. That's not balancing yourself. You're unbalanced. You know what I'm saying? You're unbalanced. It's applied sciences, man. You know, for the sake of the children, for the sake of your children, for the sake of your community. You know what I'm saying? I'll rock with any Israelite brother, Hebrew Israelite brother, but just show me What is you like? Is he you got children, you're raising them in your faith? What applied sciences they're gonna go into? Well, you're watching it and you're introducing them to what science? What? So the future they can build build or be part of a community and build. Where? Show me. Your God is your mind. The higher God is the higher mind. You know what I'm saying? Giving them speculative stuff. I mean, sometimes you can go to church and a mosque or synagogue. It keeps children out of, but it keeps them out of trouble and stuff like that. And sometimes these children goes into Christian schools, but they use this what it is, Bible classes and stuff like that. All speculative stuff. They're not building churches, buildings. They're not. But the Mormons, with their children and their architectures and their engineers, built a big church of Mormon in Utah. Because I went to Utah and I saw it. Beautiful building, big, huge building. Who built that? Their engineers, their architectures, and their children learning about that. You know what I'm saying? And then they created this city in Utah. You know what I'm saying? They know the deal. We did it in Bushwick. But what are Israelites doing? Why? Moorish Science Temple. You got all this doctrine and all the treaties and peace, all this. What are you building? Where? What artifact are you collecting? At least I know that the Confederation of Taino People with Mukaru, Roberto Borrero, I mean, is going around collecting artifacts and being part of the museum things and out there and helping other indigenous Native Americans in their cause and their agenda because he's working with the United Nations on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with all that speculative stuff. I'm telling you. I've been through it because I've learned it with Panabayanun, the art of deception, of how we easily deceived with these doctrines and connecting back to the source. Connect back to the source of it all. And the source of it all is in the water of noon, the waters. We come from the waters. When the water break, that you can't change that. But all the doctrine and narrative, all that can be changed. That can alternate and change. But you can't change one thing, and that is that you come from the water of the wombs of the mother waters when it breaks. Water of the womb. And the womb and all the galaxies and all the planets come from the center of the galaxies. There's a womb there. A womb. And we're in a climatic bubble. This water. It's the other side of the hydrogen, and oxygen, the other side of the water, and they call it etheric ocean. Ah, yeah, the ocean. That was my series. But anyway, um, you know, um, I'm gonna leave it there, man. I've been already over 3. I didn't realize that was the time. But yeah, that's the 19 courses right there. Is science and technology. And learn these courses. And again, it's not about seeing it in other. It's about first deal with you. Your inner self becomes your outer self. You know what I'm saying? And study. Get to know it. It gives you something to do in those 19 courses. And let me know how you're doing. If you need any clarifications or anything, we can have a conversation on this. We can have conversation. I'm here for you. My podcast right now. I'm not gonna put this on the African Kingdom Federation because this is very long. Maybe if I can edit certain things, condense it. But I'm also featuring some of my podcasts um, on the African Kingdom Federation page. Honored with that, and I my LinkedIn page and my YouTube and my Facebook. And all I'm doing is, like I said, expressing, sharing, expressing, and elevating my elders. You know what I'm saying? And the wisdom that they imparted in me, I'm elevating that. And my elder, Panabayananin, Ishmael, my elder, and some of my elders, Abdul Latif, you know, and the wisdom that they impart on me and the example, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm just sharing that, you know what I'm saying? And knowing that, anybody, yeah, acknowledgement here. Yeah, acknowledgement. Before you go, you must check out Doctor Strange and the Multiverse when you get the chance. Yes, I am. I've been meaning to want to check that out. Application science, real magic. That's real magic. That's real magic. Get it? Magic. And that is understanding, again, vocalization and visualization equals manifestation. So you have to, again, vocalize it, but you have to visualize it and you have to apply sciences to it. That's the real magic. Yep. Tahaka. That's funny, right? He laughed. Man, I'm gonna leave it there, man. And Bond Dog. Okay. I'm gonna leave it there. And that's it. I said that about an hour ago. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? We're winning. See what we can do, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not, and like I said, on these podcast, what I try to do, I try to go into the courses, 19 courses. I already tell you about, the first block to learning, the first block in not becoming a good student is, you have to have the willingness to learn and thinking that you know it all. So, say in your mind, I know what I know, but I want to know what I don't know. When you have conversation discussions with people, that's very, very important. You know what I'm saying? That you do that. Because then you're just like, I want to know what I don't know. And I appreciate people like that. You know what I'm saying? But there are people that I gotta look side-eyed. I'm a little patient, side-eyed, because they think they know it all. You can't tell them anything. And then when I bring something different and they want to challenge it, but don't, okay, you want to challenge it. Let's unpack this. Let's look at it. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at it really good and see where I want to see where you coming from, and you can see where I'm coming from. But then again, a lot of antisocial, suppressive personalities, and sometimes you have to be patient and hoping that that person will see that within themselves. And that's the reason why I do these podcast, because as I see it within myself, and hopefully they will see it within themselves and say, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to, do some shadow work." Shadow work. I'm gonna have to really look into this shadow that this light is casting. I'm gonna have to look at my doctrine. I'm gonna have to look into my genetic blueprints and DNA. I'm gonna have to look at the way I look at things. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to look at, illusions. I'm gonna have to look at all the shadows. I'm gonna have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And do that work. And then you'll see that it would shine light. Get out of the shadow and get into the light. Because those people that work the shadows, man, they ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful. They sit behind the cut in the shadow and they work the shadows and they work those angles. And they're very detrimental. They're about selfless. They're about themselves and they're very selfish. You gotta get into the light. Pa naba. You gotta get into the yanun, the light, the noon, the water, not the water, the noon. You know what I'm saying? Yananin. You gotta come on, bathe in that. You know what I'm saying? All right, thanks. I'm out.